This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
But you say he's just a friend.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
Oi!
To the first presidential debate of the fall campaign scheduled just days after the start of summer. Here we go. President Biden and former President Trump, the two main parties' presumptive nominees, will go head-to-head in Atlanta. Ed O'Keefe shows us what to expect from the earliest presidential debate ever held.
With the hours ticking down to the first face-off of 2024, voters near the White House shared their expectations.
I'm just there for the entertainment. It's going to be fun.
It's set to be a 90-minute debate with no audience and muted mics when the other is speaking. The current and former presidents are preparing in starkly different ways. Donald Trump has been doing interviews.
What have you been doing to prepare for the debate?
I think I've been preparing for it for my whole life, if you want to know the truth.
And talking about the debate on the campaign trail.
Should I be tough and nasty and just say you're the worst president in history? Or should I be nice and calm and let him speak?
While President Biden remains behind closed doors at Camp David, holding mock debates with aides, including Bob Bauer, who's once again playing the role of Trump in rehearsals, as he did back in 2020.
To play Donald Trump, you said you watched hours of tape of the 45th president as a businessman, as a 2016 candidate, and then in office. You had to get pretty close to what he'd conceivably say, right, in order to prepare Biden for that debate.
You're not auditioning for a role as an impressionist or satirist or Saturday Night Live guest. You want to adopt as much of sort of the most pronounced mannerisms as possible and, find the tone that the opposing candidate is likely to use.
Now, among the topics that could come up in tomorrow night's debate are rulings from the Supreme Court. For the next 3 days, we'll be getting opinions with some high-profile cases affecting Donald Trump on presidential immunity and a charge related to January 6th, yet to be decided.
A pro-Palestinian protester accused of shouting at subway riders to, quote, raise your hands if you're a Zionist, has turned himself in. And police say he's 24-year-old Anas Saleh of Staten Island, charged with attempted coercion and given a desk appearance ticket. Protesters used umbrellas to shield him as he walked out of the precinct station house. The incident happened back on June 10th on a packed train in Union Square. Video of the chant quickly went viral. Police say it was not deemed to be a hate crime. The Manhattan DA's office tells us they have been actively investigating the incident with the NYPD.
Yossi Schneider is the first cousin on the mom's side of the Bibas family, and he's been living this life since October the 7th, and he joins me right now live from Israel. What is your message, Yossi, to the government here in the United States?
My message is don't look to keep your chair. Don't look to keep your role in this case. Just be a person, be a human being, keep your values, okay, and do the right thing. Stop judging and blaming Israel. Stop demanding from Israel to do things that you know that you wouldn't do for yourself. If the U.S. war attack right now, when the U.S. been attacking in the 9/11, nobody said that the U.S. is making genocide in Afghanistan when they kill 400,000 people. Nobody said that they're making starvation all over the world. Nobody want them to stop. Everybody said that you need to get Bin Laden. So it's the same thing right now. You should be on our side and help us. I know when I'm saying help us is not putting boots on the ground, American boots on the ground. It will be great if you will do that, but nobody asked you to do that. But just don't be against us. Don't give the Hamas a backwind, because that's what they're doing right now. Just giving them backwind. I just have to say the last sentence. Hamas agreed in the last negotiation. He agreed for a lot less than what he got in the last negotiation. We almost gave him everything that he even could have dreamed about, and he said no. And the only reason that he's saying no is because things like Biden say and other leaders of the world saying and doing, okay, that give him backwind, and that's why he have no reason, okay, to stop. He have no reason to do that, because every day that's going by, he's getting more. Please, America, wake up before it's going to be too late.
Alvarez ropes one out to right. Soto going back. It's over his head, and it's out of here. Francisco Alvarez goes the other way for a two-run homer. Number 4 for Alvarez, and it's 3-0 Mets. A laser beam to right for Alvarez, much like the one Vientos hit last night. The baby Mets growing up.
Yankees down 9-1 yesterday and made it 9-7. Now they're down 7-0. Drilled deep to left. There it goes. See ya. 30th home run of the year for Judge. Yankees on the board. It's 7-2.
Starting to remind you of a couple years ago. I mean, I think he's pretty much on the same pace. It's just unbelievable what this guy is doing day in and day out.
The Mets have 2 on with 2 out. So here's Taylor, who's been hit by a pitch and walked. 1-1 to Taylor. And he cracks one to deep left field. Back goes Verdugo. Takes a look, and it's out of here. Tyrone Taylor brings down the house with a 3-run homer. 3rd home run of the year for Taylor. And the Mets reassert themselves. It's 10-2. Harrison Bader leads off in the home 7th.
The 0-1. Bader sends a high drive to left field. Verdugo looks up, it's gone. Another New York Met home run. Harrison Bader makes it 11-2 Mets with a solo shot in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And a bouncing ball. Iglesias charges, and the ball game is over. Midnight comes 18 minutes early for the Yankees as the Mets sweep the 2-game series, bludgeoning the Yankees for the 2nd straight night. Big night for Francisco Alvarez, and the Mets beat the Yankees 12-2.
We got some breaking news into Sports Center. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that free agent forward OG Anunoby intends to sign a 5-year, $212.5 million contract to return to the Knicks. Woj saying the deal will include a player option and a trade kicker. Anunoby averaging 14-4 this past season, and when healthy, was a vital part of New York's rotation. So, Tim, what does this mean for the Knicks going forward?
Well, first of all, Jay, it means they're giving a massive amount of money to OG Anunoby. That's an average, according to Adrian's reporting, of $42 million a year. That's going up near a full max contract for OG Anunoby. That's got a few implications for the Knicks. One of them is that when you look at their salary structure going forward, it's going to be very difficult for the Knicks to keep both Mitchell Robinson, who's currently on the roster, and Isaiah Hartenstein, who is an unrestricted free agent at the center spot. We saw those two guys alternate throughout this season with New York, giving them 48 minutes of really good center play when they were healthy. It's going to be difficult to fit both of those guys under the salary cap that the Knicks have under the new rules under this current CBA. It's a lot more restrictive for teams, and after that trade that the Knicks made last night, they've got some limitations on what they can spend, and they just gave a ton of it to OG Anunoby. But to go back to what we were talking about with Mikal Bridges, Jay, with him and with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on the wing now for the Knicks, along with Josh Hart, along with Dante DiVincenzo, this Knicks team is as deep as anybody, including the Celtics in the NBA. They are built to give the Boston Celtics as much trouble as possible, and they clearly have established themselves by getting OG Anunoby back as the second best team in the East, and they are set up to have some titanic battles during the season. So obviously a lot of time to go here in free agency. We haven't even gotten to July 1st yet, but this is a huge move for the Knicks to get OG Anunoby locked up alongside Mikal Bridges in their front court.
So far down that I couldn't get up, you know, and one day
I'm winning, baby. I mean, look, the last time we saw the New York Knicks, they were defeated at home and defeated handily by the Indiana Pacers, blowing a 3-2 lead in a Game 7. And, of course, the Pacers went on to get blown out by the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the Celtics went on with a relatively easy, very easy win over the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA title. So the Knicks, last we saw, lost the game. But for what it's worth, so far this off-season, which is not very long. Don't forget, free agency doesn't even start until July the 1st. And the Celtics won the championship less than 2 weeks ago. But the Knickerbockers already are winning. And they're winning big, big. That was a huge trade they made 2 nights ago to acquire Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. A huge trade. And then to bring back OG Anunoby. Got a lot of money, no question about it. $213 million, almost the max contract. But Anunoby's a terrific player and a tremendous defensive player, as is Mikal Bridges. So when you've got Anunoby and Bridges on the court at the same time, that is a very good defensive basketball team. So the Celtics, they're the champs, right? They won it all. They've been good for years. They go very deep with Tatum, Brown, Holiday, White, and a healthy Porzingis. But like Bontemps said right there, the Knicks are clearly the second-best team in the Eastern Conference and maybe the best. Either way, Celtics-Knicks at Madison Square Garden this year will be a huge ticket. So congratulations to Leon Rose already for making some big moves to make sure the Knicks are really good once again in 2024. 2025. But why talk NBA basketball when you can talk about, well, I don't know, Summer Classics basketball? It's a big night. We'll get to the debate with Trump and Biden momentarily, but last night was the big coaching debut for me. Now, I'm not Tom Thibodeau. I don't coach the Knicks, but it was a moment that I have to say I loved. Getting these young men. 9 of my 11 players showed up last night. These terrific kids, led, of course, by my beautiful son, Gabriel, getting out there about 7:30 last night. The game started at about 8:20. Now, the weather was an issue, and it became an issue in the fourth quarter when they eventually called the game. But we had played long enough to make the game official. And the good news is, when they called the game in the fourth quarter, we were leading 34-31. So according to my friend Bird, who runs the league, basically, him and, Bugsy and all those guys, according to him, it was an official win. So I am now 1-0 as a head basketball coach at the St. Francis League Summer Classic. 1-0. Big win. Big. And I got to tell you, my boys showed up last night in support of me and Gabriel. Lou showed up, the great Lou Ruffino, his lovely fiancée, MJ. Thank you for that, Louis. Thank you.
Big win.
It was big. It meant a lot that you were there, too. It really did.
I got a question. Now, Burf and Bugsy?
Yeah, Burf is on my team.
Oh, yeah, that I
saw him. He hit the go-ahead three-pointer. He's Gabe's best friend.
Right.
And I got him on our team. He hit the go-ahead three-pointer in the fourth quarter. His real name is William Jimenez, but I call him Burf.
Okay.
It's a long story.
It just sounded like those two guys. Yeah, it's okay. It's official. Bugsy and
Burf and Bird and all those guys, yeah.
Game's over.
Game over. We win. So Lou and MJ were there. My dear friend Mike Sullivan. Nobody better than Mike Sullivan. And his lovely wife, Donna. They were there in support of us last night. Phil Hughes showed up. Thank you, Philly. In support of me and Gabriel last night. So we had a big rooting section. And Danielle, of course, my beautiful wife, Gabe's mom. We had a big rooting section, and I think it helped. So we beat Joe Harkin's team. That's a big deal. Flip Mullen was there. And what was great was my assistant coach is a kid by the name of Ryan Moran. And his grandfather, one of the cutest men I've ever met, Donnie, showed up last night. And it turns out Donnie, his grandfather, is a huge Sid and Friends fan. Every day listens every day. So you had Ryan, the grandson, Donnie, the grandfather, and the dad, who's a terrific guy. I met for the first time last night, John Moran. So after the game, I took a picture with Donnie, John, and Ryan, literally 3 generations of Morans. How cool is that? You know, I have that picture I put up every year, Father's Day, with me, my father Harvey, and Gabriel, 3 generations of Rosenbergs, which we took in Boca Raton many years ago. Now, of course, my dad is gone, so it's so nice to see 3 generations of Morans, Donnie, John, and my assistant coach, Ryan, on the court last night. We are 1-0. So the Knicks, they get a huge offseason win, 2 of them. The Rosenbergs, we get a big on-court win to start the summer schedule. Now, the final question is, in terms of winning, like Santana talked about in that song, who will win later on tonight in Atlanta? Now, that's a silly question. You know why? Because Trump is going to win. There is maybe nobody on this planet who could out-duel Donald Trump on the mic. Nobody. Especially an old, doddering, feeble fool like Joe Biden. So Trump is going to win. But because the media is in bed with Biden, because there are more Democrats than Republicans, you're not going to know that Trump won. In fact, as long as Joe Biden stands erect for 90 minutes and doesn't pass out or fall down, no matter what he says, no matter how badly Trump beats Biden with substance, the media is going to give Joe Biden the win. I keep telling people that. Who's going to win, Sid? Biden's going to win. Biden is going to win as long as he stays awake. And again, he's not going to win. Trump is going to kill him with substance. Trump had a great presidency. Biden has been a disaster. But 99%, and I mean 99% of the media despises Donald Trump, loves Joe Biden, therefore, don't even bother asking. As long as Joe Biden stays awake, he gets the win. Is that fair to say, Noam?
I think, yeah, the Democrats, the reporters, I should say, especially CNN, no two ways about it, they are on Joe Biden's side tonight.
So there's really no way that Donald Trump can win.
I think the Trump campaign has made one mistake by being over the top about the fact that, President Biden is old and dithering, which he may be, is that they give him this out, essentially. It's exactly what you said. If he shows up and doesn't mumble his way through the 90 minutes, they'll declare victory tonight.
You know what pissed me off, too, in the news? We played it in the open, this story about this Anus Sala, and I'm not sure if he pronounces it Anus. He spells it A-N-A-S. As far as I'm concerned, he is an asshole. He's a guy that stood up on the train and said, hey, raise your hand if you're a Zionist. Here's your chance to leave. And I only wish to God that I was on the train. I wish to God that I was on that train. So we get pictures of the guy thanks to Jew Hate Database, and he turns himself in. I know I gave the NYPD a lot of credit on my Instagram yesterday, and it turns out that he turned himself in. So I still love the cops. I love the NYPD, but you go back to the that animal who raped that 13-year-old girl in Queens. The cops didn't get that guy. That was a civilian. And in this case, the cops didn't get this guy either. He turned himself in. Maybe he felt the heat. So it turns out he gets a desk appearance ticket, and the cops are still trying to figure out whether it was a hate crime. Wait, hold on. We just did this. We just talked about those animals, that Palestinian family who beat up a Jewish family at a 5th grade graduation, and I begged and pleaded with Gary Marcus, who's a great guy and a great cop. He heads the hate crime unit. Please slap these Palestinians with a hate crime. Now it's a couple of days later. It's the same conversation. This guy is asking people to stand up on a train and tell us what their religion is, which has got to be illegal. And you're asking the question as to whether or not this is a hate crime? What am I missing, Noam?
I don't know, but the kid is a coward. I don't know if you saw the moments that he left the police station in Staten Island. There were reporters outside. The family was trying to cover him with umbrellas.
Not the family. Those are all of his buddies, all
supporters.
of his protesters.
Well, his family members were there, too. And they were saying, oh, don't take pictures of him. Don't take pictures of him. And the guy's a total coward.
Total coward. But how can we even be, discussing whether or not it was a hate crime? Of course it's a hate crime. Identify yourself as a Jew and get off now or else.
Right. And can you imagine in that moment if someone had identified themselves as a Jew on that train, what would have happened?
I don't know. And I'm glad we didn't find out because not everyone is as crazy as I am. I know, for example, Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County executive, he's going to join me later on this morning. His niece was on the train, and she hid her chai under her shirt and said nothing. Not because she's a coward. She was scared.
Yeah, well,
and I don't blame her.
Likely would have lost that battle if she had stood up and said that I'm a Jew.
Absolutely. So the New York Police Department has to stop with this. And once again, I put this all on the mayor. I do. Mr. I love the Jews. Come on out to Gracie Mansion for Jewish Heritage Week. If I'm the mayor, I go crazy. The last couple of weeks, they're not sure if that Palestinian family committed a hate crime. They're not sure if this animal on the train asking Jews to identify themselves, if that's a hate crime. And then Alvin Bragg, that fat, stupid, racist, anti-Semite district attorney, drops all the charges on the Columbia protesters who scared the living daylights out of Jewish students for the better part of 2 weeks. You've got 3 different incidents, which were clearly hate incidents, clearly anti-Semitic incidents, and the cops are not sure yet whether to charge these people with a hate crime, and the mayor has not said a goddamn thing. Eric Adams, you are a phony. Is that fair to say, no?
Yeah, and I go back to that train moment. If you put any other word in there, all Italians on the trains, all
put the N-word.
Blacks
put the
from
N-word.
the train.
Use
right.
the N-word. Let's go. Yeah. Well, use the
rightfully
F-word.
So.
Use the F-word for homosexuals.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I would say those would be hate crimes as well.
Of course.
But because he used the word Zionist, which everybody knows he means Jew, somehow he's going to get away with it.
The mayor should be embarrassed. The mayor should be coming out and, listen, the police, they got to do what they got to do. We got the right guys in charge. They'll make the decision. But I'm here to tell you that this is no good. He says nothing. He says absolutely nothing. I don't even know what he talked about yesterday. Do you?
I don't.
Is there any news from Eric Adams this morning?
I'd have to go back and look.
Absolutely nothing. So, anyway, we got a lot to discuss. Obviously, tonight's debate in Atlanta is the big story. We got a million guests, a million topics. Going to be a great show. We're going to kick it off. There's a big night in Rockaway tomorrow night. It is a boxing night. You've got the FDNY taking on, I guess, the firefighters from Atlanta. And the proceeds are going to Tunnel to Towers. I love that. So Bobby McGuire, the FDNY boxing president, will join us coming up this hour. And there are still tickets available in Rockaway to check out this big night of boxing coming up tomorrow night. In the 7 o'clock hour, you get Curtis Sliwa and Paul DiGiacomo. Paul DiGiacomo retired yesterday. He walked out of his offices on Thomas Street. He has been the head of the DEA, Detectives Endowment Agency, was a cop for 42 years, is a dear, dear friend of mine and Danielle. He's going to stop by this morning right before he goes on with Rosanna Scotto on Channel 5. 8 o'clock hour, Bruce Blakeman and Bill O'Reilly. How about that? And in the 9 o'clock hour, Mike Sapraicone running against Kirsten Gillibrand for Senate coming up in November. Big Thursday show. Sid and Friends in the morning. Trump versus Biden. Get your popcorn ready, folks. The big one coming up from Atlanta later on tonight.
I'd drive 1,000,000 miles to be with you tonight. So if you're feeling love, turn up your radio. The words we use are strong. They make reality. Now the music's on. Well, baby, dance with me. Yeah.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Entertaining and informative. This is Sid and Friends in the Morning. 77 WABC.
Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning when it lights up the sky. You know it makes me feel good. Well, I love a rainy night, such a beautiful sight. I love to feel
the great Eddie Rabbitt loves a rainy night. We had a rainy night last night, long rain delay in that Met-Yankee game in Queens. Didn't stop the Mets from bashing the Yankees' brains in for the second consecutive night. And don't look now, but for the first time since the second week in May, the Metropolitans are a 500 baseball team. 39-39, and the Yankees, who won 19 of their first 22 series, have now lost 4 consecutive series, including the short 2-game sweep by the Mets, and they've lost 8 out of 10. So the good news is Aaron Judge, who had that 62 home run season in 2022, is on pace to do it again, if not better. After a slow start, Judge already has 30 home runs. Hit number 30 last night. He's knocked in 76 runs. Unbelievable year for Judge. But the Yanks have lost 8 out of 10. And the Mets just clobbered the 2 best pitchers in the Yankees rotation, beating up on both the reigning Cy Young Award winner Garrett Cole and last night the rookie Luis Gil, who now, after this unbelievable start, we all gave Luis Gil the Rookie of the Year already. He's now gotten clobbered in 2 consecutive starts. So Aaron Boone scratching his head, the Mets on an absolute roll. Let's hope Donald Trump is on that roll later on tonight. You know, he released a new campaign ad. The migrants, such an issue. 12-year-old little girl murdered in Texas, not that far removed here in New York from that animal raping a 13-year-old girl in the park in Queens. Migrants, which I call illegals, doing some real damage, some real violent crimes all over the United States. And that was the motivation, if you will, for Donald Trump's new ad campaign, ripping Joe Biden. Came out yesterday. This, Lewis, is cut number 1, the new Trump campaign ad.
It just keeps happening. Laken Riley wasn't the first. And in Joe Biden's America, sadly, she won't be the last.
Also this morning, a major break in the murder case of a Maryland mother. The suspect was in this country illegally. He's expected to be charged in the murder and rape of Rachel Morin.
Illegal immigrant Victor Hernandez. He was wanted for murder, but Biden let him in.
Entered the country illegally after reportedly murdering a young woman in El Salvador. He assaulted a 9-year-old girl and her mother at a home in Los Angeles.
Now, he's charged with raping and beating Rachel Morin, mother of 5, to death. Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, and countless others. Joe Biden's open border, a nightmare for American women.
And that right there is what Trump needs to highlight later on tonight. The open border, what's happening in this country, the economic issues, World War III right around the corner. None of these things, ladies and gentlemen, to my sister who I love dearly out there who hates Trump, none of these things were happening when Trump was president. None of them. And they're all happening right now. So a bunch of folks were out yesterday on CNN, on Sean Hannity, talking about what they think Donald Trump will do tonight and what the debate will look like, including this guy. I'm not a big fan of this guy. A lot of you folks out there do love him. Vivek Ramaswamy, he was on CNN, and here's what he said about Donald Trump, Lewis, cut number 2.
Well, look, one of the things I would say is just be yourself and be true to Americans. I think the people of this country are able to snuff through pre-prepared, pre-canned talking points. One of the things I love about President Trump is he's not a guy who just sticks to a script. He's a guy who actually speaks his heart and mind. But one piece of advice I would give him, and I've gotten to know President Trump, especially after I've left the presidential race, is he is actually somebody who deeply cares about national unity. And that does not come across in the media's normal reporting of him. So one of my pieces of advice to him, and I think that he will be successful in getting this across, if not at the debate for the rest of the campaign, is how much he does care about reuniting one nation in this country. Biden pledged to unite the country. He has failed miserably.
Then we talk about the rules for tonight, 90-minute debate. You guys know that. No audience. The mics will be muted when one person is talking. Trump fans don't like that. And there's still a healthy amount of American psychos, that believe that Joe Biden already has the questions. That fake tapper, Dana Bash, CNN have already given Joe Biden the questions. I don't know that, so I'm not going to say it. I don't know that. Is it possible? Donna Brazile, Hillary Clinton, I guess, but I'm not going to go that far. Either way, Vivek says, despite all these rules, Donald Trump is still showing up. Cut number 3.
I'll also tell you something I told President Trump, and I'll tell you as well, is I give him a lot of credit for doing this debate on the terms that were effectively set by Biden. Hosted by CNN in Atlanta without a live audience would be the equivalent of Joe Biden agreeing to do a Fox News hosted debate in Alabama with 3,000 live audience members. So I give Donald Trump a lot of credit for that. If you're going to lead the country, you got to be able to show up, and that's exactly what he's doing.
One more from Vivek Ramaswamy, once again from CNN. He says, Trump is ready. Cut number 4.
What I will say is, in my impression, Donald Trump is prepared on his own 2 feet for this debate. My best advice to him is be yourself. Don't do what anybody else tells you to do. He's served as president of the United States, and if this is about the policy records of both presidents, and if this is about their actual policy vision for the next 4 years, this debate is going to be good for America. If it's about relitigating past grievances or attacks or accusations on either candidate, I think it's going to be bad for America, and I think that's what's at stake tonight.
That is a fair point. So the Speaker of the House, I love this guy, Mike Johnson, on Sean Hannity last night, courtesy of Fox News, says what we all think, which is, I think we'll see a Joe Biden very similar to the Joe Biden we saw at the State of the Union, all jacked up and ready to go. You know all that. But Biden that night had nobody talking to him. He was just yelling and screaming and had a whole rooting section, all those morons in white T-shirts. And outside of really one Gold Star father, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and me, Sid Rosenberg, it was a partisan crowd. Not going to be the case tonight. Mike Johnson, cut number 5.
I expect he's going to be up on energy drinks or whatever they're going to give him. And he did. He was overly aggressive at the State of the Union. It was pretty painful to sit behind him and experience that. And he jumped right over the introduction because he was so hyped up. I expect that's the Joe we'll see at the debate this week. But I tell you what, I was with President Trump this week. He's ready. And I can't wait for that evening because he is going to put on his vision for the country. It's going to be on stark display. And in stark contrast with the weakness of President Biden. His record's atrocious. I traveled through 6 states last week, Sean, doing campaign events nonstop. No matter where we are, blue states, swing districts, or red states, it doesn't matter. Everyone is fed up with the way things are, and they know who to blame. So it's going to be interesting.
One more from Mike Johnson. Once again, Sean Hannity, courtesy of Fox News. He says it doesn't matter how hyped up Joe Biden is. He cannot match Donald Trump's preparedness and smarts. And he's right. Mike Johnson, cut number 6.
Like many, I look forward to hearing Donald Trump lay out his vision for the country. It's a positive vision. It's a forward vision. He is excited. I talked to him, spent a lot of time with him last week down at Mar-a-Lago and then on the phone over the weekend, and he's in a very good place. And I expect that you're going to see a sharp contrast between President Trump's positive agenda and Joe Biden's proven weakness. And I did a lot of media over the last several days, and everybody wants to know which Joe Biden's going to show up. And look, my summary is this. It doesn't matter if he drinks a whole gallon of energy drinks. He's not going to be able to match the acumen and the readiness of Donald Trump. And that's what we expect. Even if it's a 3-on-1 situation. I mean, obviously the CNN moderators have shown an open disdain for President Trump. Everybody's seen the tapes rolling of all their comments, so we know it's not a fair fight. But Biden's still going to have to address America's concerns about his policies of high inflation and open borders and appeasement of our adversaries. Those are things that are on the hearts and minds of every American. And I know he's spending all week to prepare for it, but I guess that's how much time it takes to figure out how to defend that disastrous record. Good luck with that.
There it is. Vivek Ramaswamy and Mike Johnson. Traffic with Joe Nolan coming up next. But it is time right now for the 77 WABC minicast clip of the day. Get the whole story in under 10 New York minutes. Download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And get the max out of Mini. The minicast, of course, is from Katz and Cosby, my guy John Catsimatidis, 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon. Here, John talks with our good buddy, Fox News legal analyst, Greg Jarrett.
This ruling by him is warped. It's senseless. It was always unconstitutional. Prior restraint of speech should have been lifted weeks ago when the trial ended. And the fact that it wasn't underscores the unfair treatment of Donald Trump.
This is Sid on Sports. Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your bottom of the hour sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com, pavilion.tankless.com, find a dealer near you. They are the world's best built boilers. On the Diamond in Queens, Frankie Alvarez went 3 for 3, I should say, with an early homer and 3 RBI. Tyrone Taylor added a 3-run drive. And
you call him Frankie Alvarez?
Yeah, I did.
You are not nearly close enough with Francisco Alvarez.
Are you?
To call him Frankie.
Are you?
I'm close with everybody.
You call him Frankie?
No. I call him Wally.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody calls him that.
Nobody does?
I think you're the only one.
I'm the only one?
Yeah, some people probably call him Frankie.
Probably so.
Yeah.
No.
You know, but can you have Frankie Lindor and Frankie Alvarez on the same team?
No, you can't do that.
So one's got to be Francisco.
Right.
Okay. I think with the way Frankie Alvarez is playing right now, he could take the reins of Frankie.
I am.
And then Lindor for the time being until he gets hot again. We'll call him Francisco.
What is that now?
Okay. Anyway, the Mets were at the Yankees 12-2. The Yanks, they just continue to slide. But Aaron Judge, he's staying hot. He hits his 30th home run of the year, joining, I should say, Mark McGuire and Ken Griffey Jr. as the only players to reach 30 homers before the All-Star break 3 times. Sean Manaea dodged early trouble, dancing around 5 walks by allowing only 2 hits in 5 shutout innings. And Luis Gil, he was charged with 5 runs, 4 hits, and 4 walks in 4 1/3 innings. He's fallen off in his last 2 starts, including that abomination in Baltimore after starting the year 9-0. Up next for the Yankees, lefty Carlos Rodon starts tonight at last place Toronto in the opener of a 4-game series. First pitch against the Blue Jays is scheduled for 7:07. As for the Mets, they'll enjoy an off day today before welcoming in the Houston Astros for a 3-game weekend series set to begin tomorrow night. To the NBA, where the Knicks made an offseason splash just a couple of hours ahead of the opening of the 2024 NBA draft. Free agent forward OG Anunoby intends to sign a 5-year, $212.5 million contract to return to the Knicks. Sources reveal the deal will include a player option and a trade kicker. The Knicks acquired Anunoby in a trade at the start of the 2024 calendar year, sending out R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly as New York was looking to get bigger on the wing. He will now join Mikal Bridges, whom the Knicks acquired Tuesday night in a deal with the Brooklyn Nets in a revamped starting lineup heading into next season. Back to the aforementioned draft at the Barclays Center, where 2 Frenchmen in Zachary Ressacher and Alex Sarr went first and second overall to the Hawks and Wizards, respectively. Going third overall was Kentucky's Reed Shepherd to the Houston Rockets. He's not French. With the 24th and 25th overall picks, the Knicks selected 2 shooting guards, Keyshawn George out of Miami and another Frenchman in Pacome Daviet. That's your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan.
You know, there were actually 4 Frenchmen drafted in the first round last night. 4 of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess who was not drafted in the first round last night?
Who?
Bronny James.
Well, he wasn't gonna be.
Yes, he was.
He was supposed to go in the first round?
Number 17 to the Lakers.
Oh, you got to be out of your goddamn mind.
That's what everybody thought. No. they thought the Lakers were going to take him at 17 to make his father.
Do they not have a second-round pick?
They do.
Okay, so maybe they'll go with him.
So that's the whole excitement about the second round is, will LeBron get his son Bronny to the Lakers? We all thought LeBron James ran the Lakers. Like I still kind of do.
We're going to find out.
But he doesn't. Because they didn't take Bronny last night.
Yeah, but maybe
they took the kid from Tennessee.
Right. But maybe all along it was their plan to take him in round 2,
I don't know.
knowing that he wouldn't go in round 1.
I know that J.J. Redick is hiring his assistant coaches. So.
Oh, okay.
Pretty impressive group of guys, too.
Oh, yeah?
For a team, once again, LeBron James coaches.
Yeah, right. So what's the point?
Yeah.
So it'll be great if another team grabs him.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, though. When LeBron inevitably retires in a couple of years, it'll be JJ, who's probably, I'm sure he's hoping that he's still the head coach of that basketball
Let's see how good you guys are. When was the last time the Knicks drafted a French player? Oh, I may be wrong about this. I think Nicolino was French, the point guard, but there was a very famous draft choice that the Knicks took years and years ago. They could have taken Ron Artest out of St. John's, but the claim was we've got enough small forwards, we don't need them. So they drafted a guy by the name of a big Frenchman, by the name of Frederick Weiss.
Oh.
And that was a complete disaster. Like many Knicks picks.
Frederick Weiss, yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
What a disaster.
Ron Artest had French in him, too. It was just, he battered them around a little bit.
Well, none of these Frenchmen are fun to watch. They're all just tall, lanky.
Yeah, they're not fun to watch, no. No. Yeah.
It's like hook shots and stuff. Like, jam it, Let's see you jam it.
Yeah.
Let's see you rush the lane and jam it.
I didn't even watch any of the NBA draft last night.
No, me neither. Not a second.
But I don't need to. When my Knicks got Mikal Bridges and we signed Anunoby in 2 days, guess what? Look out, Boston, bitches. Here we come.
Yeah. Knicks putting together quite the blueprint there.
Yes.
Okay, excuse you. No. That's sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and PeerlessBoilers.com, PavilionTankless.com. Fund a dealer near you. They're the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick, 77 WABC.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with a triumphant comeback. For a solo. But tonight, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my peers, putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion. Overpowering over the competition.
Big night of boxing here with LL Cool J. A big night of boxing about to come your way tomorrow night. There's some irony here in that our FDNY guys here in New York are about to take on a bunch of guys from Atlanta. That's going to be in Rockaway by my house tomorrow night. But tonight, Atlanta is the big scene where Trump goes up against Biden. So you get Trump versus Biden in Atlanta later on tonight, and then New York versus Atlanta in the ring in Rockaway for a great cause coming up tomorrow night. Bobby McGuire is the FDNY boxing president. He's helping out with me right now. Bobby, good Thursday morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. How are you?
I'm doing great. I always enjoy a night of boxing. I tried celebrity boxing once. My late great partner, Bernard McGuire, God rest his soul, beat the living daylights out of me on a very chilly October morning. It'll be 21 years this October, but I remember every punch. Now, we fought, don't forget, Bobby, at 8 o'clock in the morning, because we fought on the Imus in the Morning show. 500 spectators at Chelsea Piers in Lower Manhattan, the Real Ring, David Dinkins, Rudy Giuliani, a huge panel of judges, Imus, Mike and the Mad Dog, Mike Breen, you had Marv Albert, you had Mike Lupica, all these big names, and I got punched in the face at 8 o'clock in the morning, and everything Teddy Atlas taught me at that point went out the window. And I learned very, very quickly that after 4 months of some pretty good training, boxing is actually very, very difficult. Is it not, Bobby?
It is. It's not an easy sport to master, and the conditioning involved, as you know, is intense. These guys work very hard on their own time in order to represent the FDNY. And as you know, they do it for a great reason. You know, our team believes in raising funds for charity through spirited competition. In fact, our team motto is we'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere, as long as it's for a good cause.
I love that. I do love that. You won't do any work with Pat Russo, my buddy, the cop. He works with the kids in fighting. You would do work with him?
Absolutely. I know Pat well, and every couple of years the FD mixes it up with the PD, and we usually sell out to God. And it's a great event that raises a lot of money for charity.
Who usually wins those? Like I know, of course, you guys play a very intense football game. I think my buddy Boomer Esiason, my competition on WFAN, gets involved in that. You guys play a very, very physical hockey game. But when the firemen in New York fight the cops in New York, who usually wins that?
Well, I'll tell you, we've done it for 16 different occasions, and the record is all tied at this point.
Wow.
And for us to even be in the same ballpark with those guys, it takes a lot of work because, as you know, they're almost 4 times the size of the fire department.
No, I know, and I have a tough time rooting for anybody when it's the FDNY versus the NYPD. I've got so many dear friends. In fact, my next-door neighbor, Billy Felton, is a proud fireman. The cops, I love the cops, and they love me. I'm their favorite show in the world, trust me. So I have a hard time rooting, but there's no issue in who to root for, Bobby, in your event tomorrow night because it's New York versus Atlanta. It's the Giants versus the Falcons. It's the Mets versus the Braves. Go New York, go New York, go!
Well, absolutely, and as you had mentioned, the debate is there tonight. And actually, we lost a couple of bouts because a lot of the Atlanta police department were called in for overtime and such for security for the debate tonight.
Oh, no. So they've got a built-in excuse already. They're going to say, our best guys were protecting Donald Trump and Joe Biden last night, right?
That's going to be their story. But,
well, I tell you what I love about this, and I've got a friend, she used to work at Newsmax. She's now with Tunnel to Towers. Her name is Monica. And she's really excited about this. Frank Siller is very, very appreciative what you guys are doing because, as far as I know, the proceeds for tomorrow night's big event help the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. They've been our charity of choice over the last few years, because not only do they support our armed forces, but they also support our first responders. And last year we were able to give them $100,000. This year, after this event, we're going to be giving them another $100,000. So amazingly, $200,000 over the last 2 years. And the great thing about that charity is that 95% of every dollar goes to one of their wonderful programs. So, it's tough to beat a charity that gets the highest rating possible from Charity Navigator, and we are very proud to support them.
do a great job, and I highlight that foundation every Wednesday on this program. I talk about what you're talking about from the home programs that they provide homes for, catastrophic for injuries and first responders, right down to the servicemen that lose their lives. And Frank Siller and those people do a great job, and it's a great job out of you getting them the money. Bobby McGuire, the FDNY boxing president. So how many bouts are on this card tomorrow night?
We have 12 bouts scheduled, and we kick off at 7:30. Gates open at 6. It's down in St. Camilla's, and as you know, we bill it as the Thriller in Camilla. And
yeah. Now, why not? I see that poster, Thriller in Camilla, on my gym. My buddy Sean Cerrone, Great American Burn Fitness on 105th Street, right off of Rockaway Beach. You know Shawnee, right?
I do know Sean. I was actually there yesterday. Sean is a long-time sponsor of the event.
Well, I work out there every day, and he's got the big poster there. But where did Camilla come from? Thriller in Camilla.
Well, it's in St. Camilla's.
Oh, that's why, St. Camilla's. So what street is that exactly in Rockaway?
That's on 99th, between 99th and 100th Street, right on Shorefront Parkway. It's an outdoor event under the stars, and right across from the beach there. And,
Gorgeous.
Each year we draw a couple of thousand people for this event. And one thing that is great, as you know, being a Rockaway guy, the neighborhood, the support we get from the neighborhood is tremendous. All the stores, restaurants, they all get behind it. In fact, there's a new bar restaurant opening the day after the fight called the Pilot House. And they were really very generous to us. And as you know, the Wharf, the Bungalow Bar, all of these restaurants and bars, they come out very big. And we also get a lot of support from the local unions, the Steam Fitters, Local 638, the Operating Engineers, Local 30, the Laborers, Local 79. All these guys kick in to help make this such a success.
You know, I tell you, Bobby, I do love my neighborhood. I made that point just 2 days ago. I love Nassau County, people like Pete King, Bruce Blakeman, Joe Cairo, lots of American flags. I was at Jonathan Diller's funeral, the hero cop in Massapequa that did an amazing job. And no disrespect to them, but there is no neighborhood like mine. None. Every single house has an American flag. Every single corner has an American flag. There are Trump flags flying all over the place. It's all police, fire, first responders. Yes, we've got a fair share of Orthodox Jews as well, but this is an unbelievable neighborhood. And what a venue for this event tomorrow night. I mean, am I wrong here, Bobby? Is there a more patriotic neighborhood than mine?
None that I could find, Sid. It's absolutely fantastic, and they support almost every charity event that comes their way in big numbers. I mean, we have, a tremendous crowd that comes out for this, and it's generally people from the Rockaways, There's, as you said, there's a ton of police and firefighters that live down there. I was actually born down there, and I don't know if you remember the McGuire brothers, but
sure,
they were
of course.
They were uncles of mine, and the only two brothers in any Hall of Fame, both being in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
They're legends. Your uncles are legends in my community. Legends.
Well, I do get a couple of free beers when I do mention that. So.
And you're right. You can go to the Bungalow Bar, the Wharf. You go see my buddy Sean at Harbor Lights. He got a nice cold one waiting for you. I was there last night. So on the way out, Bobby, this is very exciting. It's a gorgeous venue. The weather's supposed to be great tomorrow night. A night of boxing, 12 great bouts. Give out the details one more time on how folks can buy tickets and get involved.
Okay, well, there's going to be plenty of tickets available at the gate, but you can also get them in advance at the website, fdnyboxing.org. And the gates open 6 p.m. We have the FDNY Emerald Society doing a show at 7, and then about start at 7:30 sharp. Should be a great night. There's 50-50 raffles. There'll be food vendors there and cold beverages, and this is our 8th annual, so a lot of people look forward to it each year. It's almost like a community get-together. And we look very forward to it, and look forward to raising more money for the Tunnels to Towers Foundation.
Bobby McGuire, God bless you, your family. I mean it. They really are legends in my community. Bobby is the FDNY boxing president. Big night of boxing tomorrow night. Money goes to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Great job, Bobby. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sid. Greatly appreciate you having us on.
You got it. God bless you. Bobby McGuire. We'll see you tomorrow night for a night of boxing in Rockaway. That wraps up hour number one. A great hour number one, I must say. Big hour number two about to come your way. Talking about great firefighters. How about great cops? You'll be hard-pressed to find a better one than Paul DiGiacomo. Paul was the head of the DEA for many, many years, Detective Endowment Agency. And yesterday, after 42 years of being a cop, Paul DiGiacomo walked out of his office on Thomas Street in Lower Manhattan and walked off into the sunset. He's going to join Rosanna Scotto on Channel 5 later on this morning. But before he does that, he's going to join me coming up at 7:45. And, of course, the great Curtis Sliwa coming up after Noam with the news. Sliwa and DiGiacomo. Sid and Friends in the morning on a Thursday.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning. Entertaining and informative.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
A pro-Palestinian protester accused of shouting at subway riders to, quote, raise your hands if you're a Zionist, has turned himself in. And police say he's 24-year-old Anas Saleh of Staten Island, charged with attempted coercion and given a desk appearance ticket. Protesters used umbrellas to shield him as he walked out of the precinct station house. The incident happened back on June 10th on a packed train in Union Square. Video of the chant quickly went viral. Police say it was not deemed to be a hate crime. The Manhattan DA's office tells us they have been actively investigating the incident with the NYPD.
Every time that I look in the mirror, all these lines in my face getting clearer. The past is gone, it went by like dust to dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got the dues in life to pay. Yeah, I know nobody knows where it comes and where it goes. I know everybody says you got to lose to know.
Aerosmith classic Dream On, 7:19 on your Thursday morning, and that was a story about this coward. All the protesters with the umbrellas covering his douchebag face. His name is Anus. They may pronounce it Anus. His name is Anus because he's a big asshole. That's what he is. And his last name's Salah. Same exact name as the Jets head coach and spelled the same way. But if you heard that, he got a desk ticket, and the New York Police Department is still trying to figure out whether or not it was a hate crime. I'm going to make this very, very quick and give Curtis the floor. I talked about this in the 6 o'clock hour. I'm going to talk about it all day. I am furious with the NYPD and the mayor. I love the cops. You know I do, guys. I love them. But you've got 4 incidents now. 4. 3 of which the NYPD should 1,000% categorize as hate crimes. You've got that story right there. This animal telling Jews to stand up on a train. That's a hate crime. You've got that Palestinian family that beat up a Jewish family at a 5th grade graduation in Brooklyn. That's a hate crime. And then as Curtis keeps pointing out, he's right, You've got some guy on a bicycle throwing a bag of feces at an Orthodox Jewish man in Brooklyn. That's a hate crime. And how about this story? You've got the fat, racist, anti-Semite district attorney, Alvin Bragg, who drops all charges, all of them, for 32 people who broke windows and held people hostage at Columbia University. So on one hand, I'm angry that the cops don't just label a few of these, as hate crimes, but the guy I'm really furious with, Lizzie Savetsky, I love her, but the guy I'm really furious with is the mayor. Yes, the mayor welcomes all of his Jewish friends at Gracie Mansion, takes big checks during Jewish Heritage Month. And I know Fabian Levy and Menashe Shapiro, Menashe, a dear friend of mine, are both Jewish. But how is the mayor not speaking out? Alvin Bragg not going to press charges? 3 different clear hate crimes? Nothing from the mayor? Nothing. And you folks want to know why I'm so pissed at Eric Adams? Why I don't call Eric Adams a friend anymore? Come out and blast somebody. Say it. These are hate crimes. Alvin Bragg, what are you doing? Instead, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I am not okay with that. I gave you 4 stories. 4. And the mayor's done nothing. He's done dick. Tell me I'm wrong, Curtis.
You couldn't be more hopelessly right. Hey, what happened? You were begging the other day on Wounded Knee to Gary Marcus, head of the Hate Crime Task Force, NYPD. You humiliated yourself, Sid. I told you that. I said, get up off your knees. If Jews don't take care of this situation, it won't get done. You can't depend on Gentiles.
Well, we are, but we're not the mayor.
Well,
the mayor's not a
right.
Jew.
Well, he pretends to be. How many times have we seen him put the yarmulke on his head, right? Come on. Meantime, let's deal with public enemy number 1, as you aptly describe him, Anis Salih. By the way, are you sure he's not related to the New York Jets coach?
I'm not. Same exact spelling.
Has the New York Jets coach denounced him?
No.
Well, let's ask him, right? How do we know he's not related?
You know, that name is actually very popular. It's like Rosenberg.
Yes.
It's a very popular name, so.
Yeah, so this guy gets turned in by who? Did the NYPD find him? He didn't have a mask on in that train. We saw the pictures, Sid.
I know.
Who turned him in? Who tracked him down? Who hunted this Jew hater?
I thought he turned in himself.
No, but originally the Jewish activists.
Oh, Jewish Hate Database.
Damn right.
My friends, David and Ben, yes.
They did it. What happened to the NYPD Hate Crime Task Force, huh?
Well, I will say this, and I don't like being critical of the cops, because I do love them, but the last 2 very high-profile cases, the guy that raped the 13-year-old girl in Queens, cops didn't find him.
Nope.
That was an animal civilian with a large record on the streets. And in this case, it was Jew Hate Database. So the last 2 high-profile guys that did horrible things in this city, where the mayor and the NYPD take their bows, they did not arrest either one of those guys. They did not find them, I should say.
So give credit where credit is due. Who tracked down this Jew hater in that subway who was screaming, raise your hands if you're a Zionist. This is your chance to get out now.
My friends, David, Ben, and the whole crew, they've been in studio right here.
That's right.
Jew Hate Database.
You see, they tracked them down. Number 2. Let's deal with the 5th grade graduation in Gravesend, a place you know very well. You're involved in that series. PS 682. Jewish families, Arab families, they both do very well academically. So they graduate. There's 2 twins, 10-year-old, 16-year-old brother. They're taking pictures outside after the graduation. Arab families taking pictures. And there's one Arab family starts screaming, death to Israel! Gaza is ours! Free Palestine! And then this guy attacks the Jewish father and gives him a beatdown right there. There's a brawl going on.
A serious beatdown.
A brawl.
A brawl.
The guy gets arrested, the guy who started the attack, is Aldin Bazar, 26, but no hate crime.
No hate crime.
Are you kidding? Well,
that is the definition of a hate crime.
And that was the story. That's when I reached out to members of the NYPD and said, please do this. Please do this. I'm not going to tell you what they said to me, but that was when I made that call you talked about.
Brooklyn, Eric Gonzalez, DA Eric Gonzalez, are you asleep at the wheel? And let's mention ones that you didn't add, because there are 5.
There's another one.
Oh.
I had 4.
The Jewish Directors Home and their board members of the Brooklyn Museum, when the Jew haters went and desecrated their homes, vandalized their homes. Brooklyn, Eric Gonzalez, you asleep? That's a hate crime. No arrest yet.
No
arrest.
And here's the other thing. You know what? It's a hate crime, but you know how hateful that group was? When they were done with these people, and I don't like these people. They're Democrats, they're Jews. I don't like them, but the truth is they were victims, like you said, of a hate crime. They then went to the UN, you may remember this, in support of not quote-unquote Palestine, which doesn't exist, you morons, in support of Hamas. They flat out said it, we are Hamas. What Hamas did was good. That's that same group.
Well, you know, maybe Eric Gonzalez, one of his key members of the district attorney's office there, was a Jew hater and an anti-Semite that eventually he had to get rid of, or maybe find another place for her. Come on, these anti-Semites are everywhere. They're right in government. Look at the Department of Education. Dumbest organization ever. Chancellor Banks, Hillcrest High School. They chased a Jewish teacher. She had to lock herself in a room. The old Sheepshead Bay High School. Again, they're marching around going Zig Heil to the Jewish teachers. And as I mentioned, PS 682 in Gravesend. What the hell has Chancellor Banks done? He leads the DOE, dumbest organization ever, which has become a house of anti-Semitism.
Right, which I've actually renamed. You call it the dumbest. I call it dangerous. The most dangerous organization ever. Dumb is one thing. When you're an anti-Semite, that's dangerous. And I have to tell you, you know how much I hate David Banks. And I pointed out to you, it was ironic. You and I were talking about the Chancellor yesterday, and he was sitting there on set with Pat Kiernan on that liberal mess. New York won, yucking it up, having a great time. So, Eric Adams.
Wait, you missed one more.
No, wait. Eric Adams comes out yesterday, and he starts touting the New York City public school education. Wait, it gets better. Before you name the last
day of school yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Last day of school. And guess who he uses as an example of how great the school system is?
Himself.
And
Bayside High School. And Adrian Adams.
No.
His sister from another who went to Bayside.
No. He uses himself, you're right, and the aforementioned David Banks.
Who went to Hillcrest.
Cut number 15.
There's no greater indicator of what you could become. The chancellor of the largest school system in the country and the mayor of the most important city on the globe is public school educated.
Two geniuses right there.
The mayor of the city is Adrian Adams, who also went to Bayside High School. You know, his sister from another. Let's be real here. The mayor is impotent. The city council pimp slaps him around. They embarrass him. He never names and shames. Come on. Adrian Adams pimp slaps you around, Eric Adams, all the time.
You know, Eric Adams also has no power. I mean, none. He was actually on the right side of something a couple of weeks ago. Give him credit. And that was, he said, you got to take the masks off these couches.
Exactly.
So Governor Holcomb, as you call her, that wench, she comes out and says, yeah, you know, I kind of agree, but there's a lot of medical questions. There are no medical questions, stupid. COVID's been gone for years. And every time a New Yorker wears a mask outside the subway, they look stupid. So long story short, Adams was all for removal of the masks. Have we heard anything that says that's going to happen?
Jack Daly squatting on because the real controller in Albany, Hasty, the Speaker of the Crooked Assembly, said, hold your horses on this. You have to understand this, Sid. We're going to see the debate tonight. I'm going to get to that momentarily. An American flag now symbolizes that you're MAGA, you're a Trumper. So Democrats have been told, do not fly an American flag because then you're indicating you're supporting Donald Trump.
What Stephen A. Smith intimated, too, very, very unfortunate. I like Stephen on ESPN last week when he said that basically a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for white America.
Yeah, and he said that after praising Donald Trump like a month before, and then Barack Obama called him, and Stephen H. Smith, yes, sir, Barack, I'll go on ESPN, and I'll get down on my hands and knees and apologize to all the black elite out there. Now, let's deal with the mask. The mask have been a symbol of being a liberal, progressive socialist. They wear that proudly. You see all these young people wearing masks. They have no fear of getting viruses, flus,
And that's
COVID-19.
why from the very beginning, and I know it pissed off my wife, but I love Danielle, but I didn't care, okay? That's why from the very beginning, when I spoke to people like Dr. Oz and other medical doctors, right away, me and Bernie, at the very top of this, and they said masks don't help, and it became very clear to me after a week that all that was a pandering virtue signal that I'm a Democrat, so I didn't wear them.
That's right.
I didn't wear them because it turned out they didn't help anyway.
You were vilified in your own apartment building on the Upper West Side. Right. The Altakakas, the Stalinists, had pictures of you posted saying, enemy, he wants us all dead. How they used to scream and curse at you, and it turns out you're right. We should parade up there to Broadway from like 96 down to 72nd and say, are you ready to apologize to Sid Rosenberg?
Yeah.
Meantime, they got Playtex gloves on, visors, masks, these Altakakas. But let me get back to Anis Sully, right? Are you sure he's no relationship to the jet coach? They went to his neighbors out in Staten Island. Neighbors said, oh, the family, they've lived here for like a year. Jewish family, I might add.
I was shocked when I heard that he was a Staten Island guy.
Yeah, and they said, they've been here just a year. They've been so nice. They always wave hello. Yeah, and whisper under their mouths, I'll get you, Jew, if it's the last thing I do. As they wave to you, hello, Jew, we're going to come and get you. This is nuts. Now, let me tell you about the debate tonight. Nazis, right? We've been describing Nazi behavior.
Yeah.
What has been the remedy for Democrats to juice themselves up when they need a boost? And nobody has mentioned this. They mention FDR, and Woodrow Wilson. JFK, he was 43 years old. He's debating Richard Nixon. The guy was getting shot up by Max Jacobson, the doctor with the black bag, who originally, as a Jew, escaped Germany. But he had worked extensively early on for the Nazi development of methamphetamines, crystal meth, of which JFK, so many of your heroes in the Rockaways, they still have pictures of JFK. Oh!
Yeah, they've got a big one in the back room at Harbor Lights.
Camelot. It was all specious. The black bag that Jacobson had 3 drugs. Penicillin for the venereal disease that he was always catching. The guy couldn't start humping every female he saw, including underage women.
He was actually the worst. He was much worse than Bill Clinton, believe it or not.
Horrible.
Much.
Plus, he was taking methadone, which was created by German doctors in World War II because they ran out of morphine because of his back pain. Well, of course, when you're humping that many women a day, you're going to have a lot of back pain. And he was taking liquid methamphetamines developed by the Nazis to keep their soldiers awake in World War II. Crystal meth. He was 43 years old. And guess what? He wasn't walking up the steps to Air Force One. They were riding him up there in a cherry picker with the little bucket.
Yep.
Because he would have been falling all over the place. So this has been done before. So in Camp David, when they're sitting there shooting up Joe Biden for the debate in Atlanta tonight.
Very good.
They got pictures of Max Jacobson and his black bag on the wall, and they say to Joe, old Joe, it worked for JFK, who was 43. What are you, about 83? It'll work for you, too. Just close your eyes, and we're going to give you an IV of liquid methamphetamines, better known as bikers out there know, Hells Angels, Bandidos, everyone else out there, as crystal meth. So when you see Joe Biden all animated, just think of JFK and all of you in the Irish Riviera with your JFK pictures. that story of Camelot was all bogus lies. That's why I don't believe the media. I don't believe politicians. Verify, then I'll trust you, because you get fed hokum every day by Governor Holcomb, and you all nod your heads and say, that's plausible. That's plausible. Schmucks, wake up, Jews. If you don't defend yourself, nobody else will. And don't be depending on the hate crime task force or the NYPD, because Eric Adams won't let them do their job, or Eric Gonzalez, or especially Alvin Bragg.
Sid and Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
What is your message, Yossi, to the government here in the United States?
My message is: don't look to keep your chair. Don't look to keep your role in this case. Just be a person, be a human being. Keep your values, okay, and do the right thing. Stop judging and blaming Israel. Stop demanding from Israel to do things that you know that you wouldn't do it for yourself. If the U.S. war attack right now, when the U.S. been attacking in the 9/11, nobody said that the U.S. is making genocide in Afghanistan when they kill 400,000 people. Nobody said that they're making starvation all over the world. Nobody want them to stop. Everybody said that you need to get Bin Laden. So it's the same thing right now. You should be on our side and help us. I know what I'm saying. Help us is not putting boots on the ground, American boots on the ground. It would be great if you will do that, but nobody asked you to do that. But just don't be against us. Don't give the Hamas a backwind, because that's what they're doing right now. Just giving them backwind. I just have to say the last sentence. Hamas agreed in the last negotiation. He agreed for a lot less than what he got in the last negotiation. We almost gave him everything that he even could have dreamed about, and he said no. And the only reason that he's saying no is because things like Biden say and other leaders of the world saying and doing, okay, that give him backwind, and that's why he have no reason, okay, to stop. He have no reason to do that, because every day that's going by, he's getting more.
President Yossi Schneider is asking Joe Biden to be human. This great song right here, Human by the Human League. Just be human. That was a great interview Yossi did with me yesterday. He's the first cousin of the Bibas family, that beautiful red-headed family. The parents were murdered right in front of Shira. Her parents murdered right in front of them. And then Hamas took her and her husband and the two little red-headed children, 4-year-old and 9-month-old, hostage, and they have not been seen since. Actually, believe it or not, the little baby, and the baby's name is Kafir, lived 262 days before October the 7th, now been in captive, I should say, for 264 days. So the Bibas baby has spent more time in captivity than free. Scary. Great job by Alex Trayman writing a story about this interview this morning in Jerusalem, jns.org. Also great job by my friend Garrett Seawright. He's over at Barrett Media. He wrote a big story. What questions would news talk radio hosts ask during the CNN presidential debate? And there's a bunch of radio hosts from around the country that he asked. We are at the very top of this column. Sid Rosenberg, WABC. They mentioned us first. And to Bill O'Reilly's point, my question would be, Mr. President, tell me one thing, whether it's domestic, foreign policy, race relations, tell me one thing, anti-Semitism, tell me one thing that has gone better since you've been president than it was under me. Almost exactly what Bill O'Reilly was talking about with Ronald Reagan moments ago. That's exactly the question I gave to Garrett yesterday. So there you have it. Let's take a short break. When we get back, this guy is one of the greatest cops, I mean that, in the history of New York City. After a brilliant 42-year career, he walked out of his office on Thomas Street in downtown Manhattan yesterday and walked off into the sunset. He's a dear friend of mine and a hero. We will talk to him coming up next.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
The great Tom Petty here. Big sports night last night for the second consecutive night. My Mets clobbered the Yankees. They clobbered them. I mean, Aaron Judge, it's a home run every night, but the Yankees don't win. They've now lost 8 out of 10, 4 consecutive series. While my Metsies, back to 500, are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 15 of 19, and they're hitting home runs every night, lots of them. Then you had the Knickerbockers, a day after acquiring Mikal Bridges from the Nets. That's a huge move. The Knicks gave OG Anunoby $215 million yesterday. And don't look now, but I think the Knicks have caught the Celtics. I really do. I think the Knicks have caught the Celtics. And most importantly, I won my coaching debut, my beautiful son Gabriel, and 9 great kids. Blue Bears get the win last night. Rain shortened midway through the fourth quarter, 34-31. We are 1-0. Second game coming up on Monday. We're winning all the time. All wins. But my next guest, a real winner. 42 years as a cop in New York. Just spent many, many years as the head of the DEA Detectives Endowment Agency. Not just an amazing cop, but a guy that became a dear friend to me and my beautiful wife, Danielle. He walked out of his office yesterday on Thomas Street in Lower Manhattan and walked off into the sunset. He's about to go on Channel 5 with Rosanna Scotto in about 20 minutes, but he's here with me first. My dear friend Paul DiGiacomo. Paul, congratulations, buddy. How are you?
Good, Sid. Thank you. Great to hear from you again. Thank you for your support.
No, of course. What an amazing career. So what do you feel like? You did go to work yesterday. You did walk out. But this morning is really the first day in 42 years that you did not go to work as a cop. What does that feel like?
Well, actually, I still am a cop. I got a few more days on the books, and I am going into the office just to clean up a few odds and ends. But it's very emotional. It's 42 years of my life, and I worked with some of the greatest detectives that walked the face of this earth.
Yeah, you certainly have. One of those guys, my dear friend Bo Dietl, I did his podcast yesterday. He loves you. He texted me. Again, my wife, Danielle, loves you. She texted me. And, you know, the question, I think, Paul, that everybody wants to know, because it's an honest question, and that is, when you arrived on the scene 42 years ago, what did New York look like? And 42 years later, is it any better?
Well, 42 years ago, it was pretty much infested with crack cocaine and illegal firearms and people getting shot. And the only difference was that the police were able to do their job more effectively. Today, and you had the backing of a lot of the prosecutors back then. Today, it's a different ballgame. You have politicians that are trying to tie the hands of the police every day by enacting laws that don't help the people of the city of New York. And we're in the same situation where there are a tremendous amount of guns out there and drugs and crime. And I'm very concerned about the future of our city, state, and our country.
And I know that, you have good relationships with all the political leaders. We went to your Christmas party this year, lovely event down by Battery Park. The mayor was there and other leaders. So I know you're not quick to criticize these guys, but I'll do it for you. I don't know. When the mayor stands there, Paul, and he did it at your party too, and says, New York is back. We're doing great, baby. And I go to myself, what is he talking about? So you tell me, Paul, is New York back?
Well, I don't think it's back because the criminal justice system is broke. And it's broke in that the New York City police are doing their job, but the rest of the system is not. Again, because of the laws that were enacted through the city council and through the Senate and the Assembly, these bail reform laws that aren't working, and they don't want to change them. And that's the problem. If you can't prosecute crimes, and you need the complete criminal justice system to work. If you commit a crime, there needs to be consequences. And right now there isn't.
You know, Paul, like you said, 40 years ago, we had the drugs. We've got it today. We had the crime. We've got it today. The subways were dangerous. We've got it today. But I think what we have today, which we did not have back then, is this just craze with anti-Semites, these pro-Palestinians, on our streets every night. And I reeled off already twice this morning 4 different incidences, 4, where I believe the New York PD, the NYPD's hate crime, has an easy call to label these hate crimes. They haven't labeled any of them hate crimes. And on top of it, the mayor tells everybody how pro-Jewish he is. He hasn't said a word. Why wouldn't the NYPD label some of these hate crimes?
Well, let me say this. They will not make any decisions on a hate crime unless they confer with the district attorney. And once they confer with the district attorney, then they'll make their decision.
Oh, so let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. So now we're in big trouble because we know the district attorney is a fat, stupid anti-Semite.
Yep.
Right?
Well, that's the problem. Again, the criminal justice system is broke. And it's not broke because of the police. The police are out there doing their job, doing it effectively. And without the backing of the rest of the criminal justice system, it's not going to work. And this is only, 3 of the DAs. The other 1 or 2 are, fair and we could work with. But, a majority of the district attorneys are not prosecuting crime and not giving consequences to people that commit these crimes.
So, Paul, when you talk about where the city is and cops not really getting the backing of the politicians, certainly civilians in the streets are really disrespectful. I mean, I was a couple of days ago standing in front of the Walgreens in Rockaway on 105th Street waiting for my bus, and that's become an issue, that corner. And there's a bunch of little kids, and it doesn't matter whether they're black or white, but they were black, okay? And they broke glass. They were causing a whole trouble. And these 2 cops came out and were yelling at the top of their lungs, Paul, yelling at the top of their lungs, get out of here, go home. And I swear to God, on my father, in his memory, the kids stood there and smirked and laughed and did not leave. The amount of disrespect on the streets for the cops, I also believe, is at an all-time high. It's no wonder a lot of your men and women decide to leave even before they're vested. They'll give up money from potential retirement money just to get out of this job.
Absolutely. If you are an active police officer today with CCRB and the lack of support from elected officials, you're putting your job at stake. And our cops are very hesitant and afraid to take action. And that's the problem. Again, it goes back to you need the support of your elected officials to back the police. And if you don't have that, this system will not work effectively.
Were you surprised that immunity they never provided you guys this immunity over these last couple of years?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they just keep chipping away day by day, chipping away at the New York City Police Department and tying the hands of the police more and more. And it's only going to affect the people of the city.
Right. And Paul, I always say this. The criminal, the bad guy, can do whatever he wants, right? He can punch you in the face. He can put you in a headlock. He can do whatever he wants. These laws that prohibit your guys from putting people in headlocks. I mean, give me an effing break. These people are criminals. I don't care. You should actually bring back your nightsticks and beat these people to a pulp. How is it fair that the criminals can do whatever they want, but you guys trying to protect me have 19 different things you can't do?
Well, the only thing we could do, Sid, is get to the polls and vote these people out, because the criminal element, these criminals that walk around and break glass and do what they want are emboldened, and they're empowered. And they're empowered and emboldened because of the district attorneys, not all of them, the district attorneys, and the criminal justice system is no longer working, and it's because of the laws that were enacted by the city council and the Senate and the Assembly in Albany.
Paul DiGiacomo about to, he's retiring after an amazing 42-year career, just an incredible human being. How many years did you spend as the head of the DEA?
Only 4 years. As soon as we had the COVID virus, I took over, and we lost 8 detectives to that virus in 2 weeks. No other rank in the NYPD suffered that loss, and we were able to secure, line of duty death benefits for those families. So that was very important.
Who was your police commissioner when you started? Was that Ray Kelly back then? Or?
Oh, Ray Kelly. He's been in throughout my career quite a few times. Ray Kelly, Bill Bratton, Dermot Shea, and now Eddie Caban.
Wow.
And Keyshawn Sewell as well.
I love her. So give me this. It's hard. I know 42 years is a long time, Paul, and, you were involved in the nitty-gritty for a long time. But if you can reduce it to one moment, was there a moment, a time, a day, something that happened in New York City where you look back on now and go, wow, I made the right choice?
Absolutely. When you are out at these civil unrest and these riots that we've had when I took over the presidency 4 years ago, and Black Lives Matter were running through the streets and crime was running rampant, and seeing our detectives in the hospital injured, and then all of a sudden they contracted the COVID virus, and 8 of them died in a matter of 2 weeks. That was a very emotional time for me, and being able to help those families get the benefits that they needed was very special to myself and the entire DEA Board of Officers.
We need officers now more than ever. We've got the everyday criminals, right? The same folks that are still pushing people in front of moving subways and robbing people. Then you've got these illegals, which some of us call asylum seekers. These illegals are committing very serious crimes. And then you've got the real potential of these terrorists. I think I saw something today where Joe Biden has allowed 400 ISIS members into this country. Something tells me most of them are right here in New York. How difficult is that job for an NYPD person who has to face 3 different criminal elements every day?
Oh, it's very difficult. And in that also that there's so little cops on the job right now, patrol cops, police officers, that they're using detectives to backfill some of the foot posts and some of the transit posts. And these detectives are being taken away from their investigations, from their counterterrorism duties, and that makes us very vulnerable.
So on the way out, I'm very good friends with Michael Kemper. I love the guy. I think he's doing the best he can with the transit system. It's a mess, And I asked him a couple of weeks ago, I said, because he's about to retire too, I said, what would your message be for young cops? I just talked about the 3 criminal elements, Paul. We need cops more than ever. We need 40,000 cops, not 30,000 cops. But like we talked about, who wants the job? You're underpaid. Nobody respects you. You get no help from the people in charge. So who wants this job? What would your sale be to a young person who's considering becoming a cop?
Well, quite honestly, right now, I wouldn't suggest that. It's a very, very difficult job. It's a lot of stress. You got the element of CCRB that's always looking to hurt you. You got other entities that are looking for oversight and looking at everything you do. A perfect example is this: a neurosurgeon doesn't have the oversight that a New York City police officer has. Wow. And that's pretty sad, because you have, CCRB, Internal Affairs, the Attorney General, the district attorneys, the federal government. There's so much oversight on the New York City Police Department, it's virtually impossible to do an effective job. But even with those obstacles, New York City detectives go out there, and every time there's a high-profile crime, murder, rape, they always lock up the individual within 2 to 3 days. And that's why I'm so proud to have been able to represent these greatest detectives in the world.
Paul. Well, you made me cry last year when you, and I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. But you gave me this beautiful award at the annual DEA dinner last summer. I had no idea it was going to be your last year doing this. But you've been a great friend to me and Danielle. You've been a great friend to New York City. Really one of the greatest cops in the history of this city. So thank you so much on behalf of all of New York City. Thank you so much for all the sacrifices you made. And now go enjoy yourself, Paul. You deserve it. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support, and God bless you and your family.
You too. There he is, Paul DiGiacomo. After 42 years of providing this city with unconditional love and service, it's over. We'll take a short break. We got the next hour coming up. A couple of big guests. Bill O'Reilly's going to be here. We're going to talk about this big debate tonight. Trump versus Biden in Atlanta. Nobody breaks it down better than Bill O'Reilly. He's going to be here. And also stopping by, I love what he did this week, too. Boys should not play sports against girls. Pretty easy, right? Not so easy if you're Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. Blakeman and O'Reilly. Big 8 o'clock hour. Keep it here.
I feel summer creeping in and I'm tired of this town again.
77 WABC. This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Kick-ass music for you. Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County Executive, was supposed to join me right now, but trying to get Bruce on the phone. We still have Bill O'Reilly stopping by and live in studio next hour. He's running against horrible person. She's horrible, Kristen Gillibrand. Our friend Mike Sapraicone live in studio in the 9 o'clock hour. So great guest, DiGiacomo. O'Reilly's going to break down that debate. We're going to win tonight. All about winning, right? All about winning. Anthony Barbarese, who's become a huge listener to this show, he makes all those funny Sid Rosenberg T-shirts, like the one where he made that you like to wear, Lou, which says, if you don't like the show, blow me. That's the guy, Anthony.
That's my favorite.
That's a great shirt. So he's a lifelong Boston Celtic fan, and he believes the Knicks have caught the Celtics. He believes they're better. We'll see. It's going to be a very exciting season. The Knickerbockers, some great moves the last couple of days. But talking about the Knicks and basketball, I did make my coaching debut last night. The St. Francis Summer Classic League in Rockaway, 129th Street. So Father Jim, God bless you. He works at St. Francis across the street. Big fan of the show. And it was a great turnout. The weather was ippy, and we did have to stop the game midway through the fourth quarter due to rain, but it was official at that point. Lou and MJ showed up. I love them. Mike Sullivan and Donna Sullivan showed up. I love them. Philly Hughes and a host of others to root on me as the coach and my great son Gabriel. And the good news is we got the win. Gabe's good buddy Burf, Willie Jimenez, hit a go-ahead three, put us up 32-31. We then sunk one more basket to go up 34-31. The skies opened up. Game over. Win for the Blue Bears. So right now I'm 1-0 as a coach in Rockaway. Our second game comes up Monday night. A very good team. I watched them play before we did. But I was so happy to beat Joe Harkins. Did you hear me talking shizzle when he started to put the full court press on? And my guys beat it like 3 or 4 consecutive times with easy layups.
I heard various things you were yelling out. He was louder, actually.
He was louder, yeah.
He was louder.
And then the refs, you heard them yell at me once.
Well, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 times. One of them had to keep pushing you back to your side of the court. You seem to, how when Sid strolls around the studio when we're not on the air, it's a stroll, it's up and down the hall, it's around the studio. You can't sit still. Sid strolls onto the other sidelines. He strolls all the way down.
Well, because when my team would take the ball down to the other basket, I followed the team down to the other basket.
Right, but it's a violation. I'm surprised there was no technicals call for that. It's like, Coach, your side, back your side, your side. Like you were standing in front of the other team's bench a couple of times.
Yes, I actually stood right in front of their coach, Harkins.
And hard to miss because you had these day-glow sneakers on.
Yeah, Danielle bought me these glow-in-the-dark sneakers. I love those. They're like, what is that word I'm looking for? Oh, God.
Gay?
Yeah, no. Go with that. Go with gay. That's good, yeah. Okay.
Were you trying to intimidate the other coach or the players on the other team by walking to the other side of the court?
It wasn't about intimidation. I was just following my team. When we had the ball on their side of the court or were defending on their side of the court, I would follow the team as he went down the court. So that's all it was.
What was he yelling?
You'd be yelling like, get back, come on.
Get back on Dio. Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Cover him, do this, block the middle, all that nonsense,
It was a lot of the other guy was in front of us too, the other coach, and it was loud. But Sid was stomping, up and down the side, up and down, and he would just stroll right onto the other bench.
Yeah. Plus, I was on the court at the time.
On the court.
Yeah, they'd tell me to get off the court once or twice. I'm very active out there. I did mention Mike Sullivan. I do want to wish my dear friend Mike Sullivan, Mr. Brennan in Carr, he celebrated a birthday. I didn't know this, but Mikey turned 63 on Monday. Wait a second. No, I think it was a day before my anniversary. I think June 24th. So happy birthday to Mike Sullivan. And, of course, his brother Thomas, who we love dearly, is running once again for state assembly against Stacey Pfeiffer Amato. So we want Thomas Sullivan to win. Mike Antonotti's, he used to work at Maimonides Hospital. He's a great guy, and he's not there anymore. I think he's in Chicago, but he listens to me every morning, and he said, congratulations, Sid, you're undefeated. So I should just retire today. Should just step down, right?
Well, what if you run the table and you win every game all season long?
Yeah, but that's a big if. I could leave today as an unbeaten coach. I got a kid named Ryan Moran who, believe it or not, we had 3 generations of Morans on the court last night. His grandfather, Donnie, loves me. So Donnie, the father, John, and the son, Ryan, 3 generations. Lou took a beautiful picture. I can hand over the coaching reins to Ryan and retire today undefeated. Undefeated. Come on. Even Red Auerbach lost the game. Even Red Holtzman lost the game. Even Pat Riley lost the game.
There's going to be asterisks galore in front of this game. Are you kidding? Range shortened. Should have been called for several violations. And you want to walk out 1-0 on that game?
Danielle was proud of me. She said, you were actually pretty calm and quiet. The other coach, Hawkins, he's a madman. And Danielle missed the game before. With Bert and Rich, those 2 guys, they're going nuts. They went nuts. But I didn't have to. My team listened to me, and they played the way I wanted them to play. We broke the press, got easy layups, played good defense. I got one kid. I forgot his name. He's number 3. O'Halloran, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of a brother combination.
I want to go out undefeated. What's that player's name that plays for me?
Yeah. I think it's Magic Johnson. I don't know. But the kid was really good. And number 4 was good, Gavin. I got to get to know these kids, you know.
Yeah, you should probably do that before you walk out into the sunset. I don't know. It was a good game, though. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
You, number 10, you should shoot it. Or I'm coming onto the court. I'm already there.
I love good competition. And the question is, are we going to get good competition later on tonight? Or is fake Tapper and Dana Ass over there at CNN going to take my guy Trump out of the game? Remember, the mics are muted, so Joe Biden can lie. And I know O'Reilly's about to come on and say both guys lie. And Bill's entitled to say that. It's not even close what they lie about. Not even close. Trump lies about stuff that doesn't really matter. Biden lies about everything and stuff that really does matter. Look, I keep hearing this time and time again. All my buddies, some of these guys consider themselves to be, quote unquote, independents, libertarians, whatever they call them. I don't know. I want to see a measured Trump tonight. And so do I. But here's the difference between me and you guys. I'm realistic, okay? If somebody is on stage beating the daylights out of my character, convicted felon, criminal, it's very easy for you to sit in your living room in Rockaway or Brooklyn or Manhattan or Staten Island and go, Trump, be above that. It's easy to say that. That's not Trump. For all you guys that want Trump to be different, I don't know why. He won in 2016 by being a bully. And he received over 70 million votes in 2020, the same guy. Now, look, yes, you can tweak it. Yes. Donald Trump, if this debate tonight came down to, hey, what did I do as president? There'd be no question Trump wins. It's not close. It's not close. But that's not what this debate is going to be about. And you know that. Because Biden can't win on that, so all Biden is going to do is beat the living daylights out of Trump. And you expect Trump to be, that's okay. Look at my economy. And maybe he'll do that. It'll be great. It'll be great. But it's easier for you to say it than Trump to do it. Trump's an animal. He's a fighter. That's what he's done for 8 years. This poor bastard, since the day he went down the escalator, has been receiving incoming like the Israelis. Every day. Every effing day. Every day. But all you tough talkers, you got to calm down, Donnie, baby. Calm down. Be nice. Okay. If he can do it, great. I don't know if I can do it. Now, look, I'm not running for president. I'm a loudmouth radio talk show host. I get that. But I'm a fighter like Trump is. And eventually, it's going to get to you. But yes, if it comes down to substance, if these guys are actually going to debate tonight on who did a better job as president, then it's not close. It's not close. In fact, I was asked by Garrett Seabright yesterday. He works for the biggest online media agency out there today, Barrett Media. And he said, what would you ask Biden? And I said, I'll tell you what I'd ask him. And it's very, very similar to what Bill O'Reilly talked about today on his morning message. It's exactly the same. He quoted Ronald Reagan. It's a great quote, Reagan against Carter. I didn't have to quote Reagan. I said it yesterday. I said, tell me, Joe, tell me one thing. One thing. The economy, domestic issues, foreign policy. Tell me one thing that you've done better than I did. Tell me one thing that's better today. Right? Like Reagan said, life better for you now. It's basically what I said yesterday when I asked what I would ask Biden. And if we can just contain it to that, you're all correct. It'll be an easy win for Trump. It ain't going to go that way. It's not. What does Biden have? He's got 3 things. 3. January 6th. Up the ass for January 6th. He's got abortion. And let me tell you this, if you're really paying attention. Donald Trump on abortion has been great. He's great. He's there for the exceptions. 16 weeks, I think, is more than fair. Truth is, these Democrats are the real psychos. They want to kill babies, when they're born. Trump could actually win on abortion, but he won't. So they've got January 6th, they've got abortion, and they've got convicted felon. That's it. That's all they've got. I asked you guys earlier this week, I'm going to do it again. The over-under, which everybody bets on in sports, is 5.5. 5.5 mentions of convicted felon. Will Joe Biden call Donald Trump a convicted felon, a criminal, more or less than 5.5 times? Lou, over or under?
Over.
Over.
And I heard a great idea. Well, another suggestion for Trump yesterday. I think it was a caller from Kilmeade said, like in the Eminem movie 8 Mile, when at the last battle he predicts what the other guy's going to yell about him.
Yes.
Would be a great thing. He's going to say this.
You could take it away from him, right? You could take it away.
Take all that away and then start refuting all those little things.
So you're going over 5.5. Noam Laden, over or under 5.5? Over.
No, under.
He said
under. Oh, under.
Yeah.
You really think he's going to only say it once or twice?
Yeah.
And why is that?
I think, he'll pound it twice, and that'll probably have its effect.
Well, twice is not pounding it, no.
Yeah, but mentioning it once or twice will be enough, and he'll move on.
All right, so I've got an over from Lewis. I've got an under from Noam, and now Justin.
If he rapped it, it would be so great. But I know something about you.
All right, Justin, over or under?
I'm going to say it's going to push 5.5 on the dot. Because there's going to be one time where he tries to spit it out, but you won't be able to understand what he's saying. He'll say something, You're
in jail, Jack.
It's actually kind of funny. I was about to call you a moron, but it's kind of funny.
Criminal.
All right, how about this? At any point tonight, does Trump lose his cool? Let's just say it goes over. It goes over, and that's all Biden is hammering him. At any point, does Trump lose his cool and say, all right, Mr. President, you keep bashing me. What about your son? Does Donald Trump bring Hunter into the mix to say, hey, I'm a convicted felon. What about your kid? Yes or no, no?
Oh, he definitely brings it up.
He will bring that up.
Yeah, because he's going to try to antagonize.
Will it be unprovoked? Or he'll
I think it's going to be prepared. He wants to antagonize the president, so he'll bring it up.
Unprovoked, okay. Yeah. Lou, will Donald Trump bring up Hunter unprovoked?
Well, how can he not bring it up? Of course he's going to bring it up. Of course he'll bring it up because...
Well, how does he just comes out and says, listen, I know you're about to call me a convicted felon 10 times tonight. Before you do that, what about your degenerate son?
Joe, let's look at the records right now and let's see what you got going on. Let's look at Hunter. How long did it take to bring this case to trial? We have a laptop, we have this, we have that. We got a lot of shady things going on, Joe. He's going to go on a whole long time about it. He'll bring it up. He can bring it up out of the blue.
Well, it is exciting. It really is. And, of course, this is the earliest debate in the history of the presidency. Neither man has been officially nominated yet for the party. We're all going to head to Milwaukee in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to do 2 or 3 days from Milwaukee where they will officially nominate Trump and Biden coming not long after that. So we're getting this thing going. One more debate scheduled for September, but there are still a bunch of folks who seem to believe that Biden will not be the nominee. I have to tell you that there was a time I bought into that, especially the Michelle Obama thing. She don't want it. She doesn't want it, and if she doesn't want it, the Democrats have nobody else. They just don't. I know they're scared to death. I know Obama is scared to death. I know they don't think Biden is going to. I know all that. But if they don't get Michelle Obama, there's no reason to remove Joe Biden because no one else will beat Trump. Right? I mean, can you name Gavin Newsom's not beating Trump? The transportation secretary, what's his name? Not dope. He's not a Buttigieg. One of these governors, Gretchen Whitmer, no chance. Zero. Shapiro, Pennsylvania, no chance. The truth is, as crazy as it sounds, because he's corrupt and he's dementia-riddled, if you don't get Michelle Obama, Joe Biden's got the next best chance. So I don't see them removing him, but who knows? We'll take a short break, lots more to do. Bill O'Reilly, nobody better with this discussion, nobody than Bill O'Reilly. He's coming up in about 10 minutes. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll talk to Mike Sapraicone and maybe Bruce Blakeman as well. Keep it right here.
is Sid and Friends in the Morning. Entertaining and informative.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
We got some breaking news into Sports Center. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that free agent forward OG Anunoby intends to sign a 5-year, $212.5 million contract to return to the Knicks. Woj saying the deal will include a player option and a trade kicker. Anunoby averaging 14-4 this past season, and when healthy, was a vital part of New York's rotation. So, Tim, what does this mean for the Knicks going forward?
Well, first of all, Jay, it means they're giving a massive amount of money to OG Anunoby. That's an average, according to Andrew's reporting, of $42 million a year. That's going up near a full max contract for OG Anunoby. That's got a few implications for the Knicks. One of them is that when you look at their salary structure going forward, it's going to be very difficult for the Knicks to keep both Mitchell Robinson, who's currently on the roster, and Isaiah Hartenstein, who is an unrestricted free agent at the center spot. We saw those two guys alternate throughout this season with New York, giving them 48 minutes of really good center play when they were healthy. It's going to be difficult to fit both of those guys under the salary cap that the Knicks have under the new rules under this current CBA. It's a lot more restrictive for teams, and after that trade that the Knicks made last night, they've got some limitations on what they can spend, and they just gave a ton of it to OG Anunoby. But to go back to what we were talking about with Mikal Bridges, Jay, with him and with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on the wing now for the Knicks, along with Josh Hart, along with Dante DiVincenzo, this Knicks team is as deep as anybody, including the Celtics in the NBA. They are built to give the Boston Celtics as much trouble as possible, and they clearly have established themselves by getting OG Anunoby back as the second best team in the East, and they are set up to have some titanic battles during the season. So obviously a lot of time to go here in free agency. We haven't even gotten to July 1st yet, but this is a huge move for the Knicks to get OG Anunoby locked up alongside Mikal Bridges in their front court.
Couldn't agree more. Tim Bontemps, ESPN. Oh, baby. You get Bridges from the Nets. You bring back OG. Maybe Randall comes back. That's a very deep and good Knick team. I agree. At the very least, the second best team in the Eastern Conference. We'll see if they caught the Celtics. All right, we got to take a short break. When we get back, oh, it's a big one tonight, the big debate. You know, one more thing Trump can use to his defense tonight is that there's a report that came out yesterday that it looks like 400, I mentioned this already twice this morning, 400 ISIS members have entered this country illegally. So Trump's big deal here is what he's got, what he can kill Biden on is the border. And to be very specific, 400 ISIS members. We don't know who they are, where they are, but we know they are here. Bill O'Reilly coming up next.
77 WABC. This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Eddie Money, take me home tonight. Bill O'Reilly, folks, was the best, still is the best, will always be the best, whether it's 9 p.m. weeknights right here on WABC, including tonight, where he will host alongside Rita Cosby our debate coverage, or his own tremendous website, BillO'Reilly.com. Great interviews and stories and just a great TV show every night. You also got the Killing series, 13 Deep, all amazing books, and his newest book, which comes out September the 10th, Confronting the Presidents. And the two guys about to go head-to-head tonight are both in that book. In fact, every president, from George Washington to the imbecile in charge right now, Joe Biden, are part of that great book. Here he is, the best ever, and what a great day to have him. No better day than today, the great Bill O'Reilly. Bill, are you ready for the big one tonight?
No.
No,
I'm going to leave town. I'm going to Iceland. I'm Reykjavik booked. If you had any idea the last 2 days of the chaos at the O'Reilly home, and by the way, I want to send a salute out to Eddie Money, who's raised in East Meadow right down a block from me.
Oh, really?
And good guy, by the way. He passed, right, Eddie?
Yeah, he died about 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
But I ran into him a couple of times.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's chaos here because it's a very interesting reason why it's chaos at the O'Reilly headquarters.
Okay. Now, so the kids are home. Spencer's there.
Spencer's around. He's been a helper at the Met Yanks the other day. At the end of this, I'll tell you a funny story about it.
Cool.
I was actually on with Darryl Strawberry during the game.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, you're asleep. I mean, you don't know anything. After 7 o'clock, Rosenberg is out, all right? He's like Michael Jackson. They put him in a little tube. He's gone.
I was actually with Darryl Strawberry Monday night, the night before the last 2 games. Both of us were honored by my friend Bobby Hartman, Mainstream House Recovery.
You talked about that.
Oh, you did?
Strawberry got a dose of Sid and O'Reilly on Monday, Tuesday.
Nice.
No wonder he left town. Oh, my God, he couldn't get out of here fast enough. All right, so the reason that my news operation, is blowing up is because the coverage on the networks and cable news operations on television is so terrible. It's all speculation. It's all garbage. It's all rooting, root for the home team. It's all believing what you want to believe. It's all of that. And if you watched me last night with Chris Cuomo, it was, look, Cuomo's in a tough spot because he doesn't like Trump, but he doesn't really like Biden either. He knows Biden is a screw up. And I'm kicking questions to Cuomo. I appointed him. You're the candidate. I'm the moderator. And then I'm going to do this to you too. So get ready, Rosenberg.
I like
I'm doing
this.
this to you right now.
I like this.
And I have 10 questions, and they're on BillO'Reilly.com. If you want to read them a little bit more closely, that I would ask if I was a moderator. And a couple of them probably will be asked by Tapper and Bash tonight, but there's not going to be any follow-ups. Not going to be any meaningful rhetoric from either man, because they're going to say the same thing over and over again. I purport that the first one who says democracy is on the ballot get fined $1,000.
That'll be Joe.
And then if you say we're not going to have a country, you get fined $1,000.
That'll be Donald. Yeah.
A $1,000 fine.
Yeah.
Because we have heard it a million times. All right.
Well, do this. Save those 10 questions. I want to keep you till 9:15. I really do. Let me get these 3 minutes out of the way. Bill O'Reilly's got 10 questions. He asked Chris Cuomo them last night. He's going to ask me them next. Then we'll get Bill's opinion on what happens tonight and a little Met Yankee talk as well. What a great day to have him, the best ever. Bill O'Reilly with 10 questions coming back.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
Getting Bill O'Reilly all pumped up with Burning for You by Blue Oyster Cult, who I don't believe, like Eddie Money and Billy Joel, live anywhere near Bill O'Reilly, but you never know. Bill O'Reilly's the best ever, man. This is such a great day to have him. He asked Chris Cuomo 10 questions last night. He's about to ask me 10 questions right now. This promises to be a disaster. Welcome back, Bill. How are you?
All right. In the 5 minutes that we were apart, I am fine. Nothing happened. I just stare at the wall. All right, now, I'm going to ask you 5 for Trump.
Okay.
I'm going to answer the Biden one.
I like it.
You just cut Biden's throat.
Right,
Not
right.
literally, but,
No, maybe even literally,
Remind me at the end of this segment to tell you the story about me asking Fox News when I was doing The Factor to be a debate moderator. It's a hysterical story.
Now,
okay.
did it ever happen?
I never moderated a debate, but I demanded to.
I'll ask you about it. Save it. Okay,
right.
Here we go.
Okay, first question for Trump.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
You're Trump.
Yeah.
Sid is Trump.
Yeah, it's close.
With the hair on.
That's
right
pretty
now.
close, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Former President, there have been no successful federal prosecutions of voter fraud in 2020. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it is. This is because we've got a rigged system. Clearly, these judges, these courts, these blue cities, these blue states don't want us to win. We have tons and tons of information and actual evidence that points to 1,000%. But these DAs and these AGs, it's all rigged, just like the cases against me.
Follow up. So you won 75% of the counties in the United States. You're telling me that there isn't anyone in any of those counties that would bring a voter fraud case?
These are very hard
questions. Very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Now, question number 2.
These are good. Listen, it's simple. It's rigged. What can I tell you?
Well, it can't be rigged all across in every county.
Sure it can. Clearly,
the evidence wasn't there.
Well, no, the evidence was there, but it's rigged. Go ahead.
All right. Second question, Mr. Former President, the 4 years of your administration, the national debt increased $8 trillion. Why?
COVID. What do you want me to do? I mean, I put us, we were in a very, very difficult situation. As it was, I think we rebounded quicker than anybody could have ever imagined. Look at the numbers on the way out. I mean, the numbers were absolutely unbelievable. But during COVID, we lost jobs. Markets were completely shut down.
That's the answer. And, you know, you take it or leave it, but that's certainly cogent. Third question, Mr. Former President, what exactly, precisely, specifically would you do to stop the fighting in Ukraine?
Well, I make one phone call to Putin. That's all it will take. See, what you guys don't understand is I live by this motto. I keep my enemies closer than my friends. I'm not friends with Putin, but we've got a mutual respect. Do I think he's a smart guy? Sure I do. You don't overlook that many people. Same thing with Ping in China. You don't look that many people without being a smart guy. But we've got mutual respect.
What would you say in the phone call?
I would say to him that it's enough bloodshed, enough innocent people have died. The last thing that I want to do, is slap a whole bunch more financial restrictions on Moscow and Russia. And the very last thing I want to do is get involved militarily. So do the right thing and stop this nonsense today before you leave me no choice.
No choice to do what?
One of two ways. We can make it really ugly for you with the economy, or eventually, if I have to, we will use some military force.
All right. Fourth question to Trump. How exactly would you deport millions of undocumented aliens when the federal courts would block any mass deportation?
Well, that's my executive action, and I would do it tomorrow. Listen.
And they block it tomorrow.
That's all. I'm still sending them back. They can block it all they want. My executive action, I'm sending them back.
You can't. If you defied a federal order, then you would be removed immediately, because the way the system works is the Supreme Court would have to hear the case, but you can't go ahead on a block. And the same thing happened to Biden when Biden said, I'm going to forgive all the college debt. The Supreme Court said, no, you're not.
I'll tell you one thing I would do right away is empower ICE. You've got these Democrat mayors and these Democrat governors who do nothing but label these people as thugs and no good, when the truth is that they're out there keeping America safe. And if, in fact, these illegals are committing crimes, and they are all over the country, don't make me talk about Philadelphia, New York, Houston, Georgia, all these different cases. I would empower ICE to do what they're supposed to do, and they will help me.
But that's not mass deportation. See, when he says mass deportation, Donald Trump, it's not going to happen, because there's no due process attached to it. Once you're on the American soil, even if you're undocumented, you're under the protection of the Constitution.
You are right.
Question for Trump.
You are right.
Can you explain exactly what your executive order on day one will be to fix the border?
Well, we'll do what we did before. Remain in Mexico.
You go back to remain in Mexico?
Remain in Mexico. No, I can't go back to, obviously I can't go back to Title 42. There's no COVID right now, but remain in Mexico. And I'll tell you something else. I will have my guys down there continue to build that wall. Let me tell you something. We built that wall. That worked. And Biden stopped. So we're going to build that wall. We're going to go back to remain in Mexico. And I will be on the phone with all of these people to make sure that they do not allow their people to leave their country. We did it once before. I can do it again.
Yeah, you can hammer Mexico. I mean, he could have gotten the wall built when he had the Congress the first 2 years of the Trump administration, but did not.
Well, he built thousands of miles of wall.
543.
Oh, that's fine. How'd I do? They do okay?
You did very well. Trump should be very pleased with you as a surrogate. Now, if I were a CNN moderator, I would have thrown you off the show.
Well, they may try that with Donald Trump tonight, and a friend of mine said if they try that, Trump needs to literally get up and walk off the stage.
There's no stunting going on. They got a new CEO over there. He's not going to do that. Okay, now I'm going to ask and answer the Biden questions. Your open border policy, Mr. President, has cost the U.S. taxpayer an estimated $150 billion, and that's just federal. New York City, Chicago, and others are going bankrupt because they cannot afford the migrant influx. Why did you change immigration law that led to that? Okay, here's Biden's answer. I had to because Trump was responsible for the mass influx. Then the follow-up is his last year, 850 migrants. This year, an estimated 2.5 migrants. And he goes, that's not true. Or some dopey thing like that. He can't answer that question.
But the theme is, before you go through all five, you basically said he's going to blame Trump. And something tells me, and I can't wait to hear the next four answers, something tells me that theme of blaming Trump will be involved in all five of your answers.
To do it.
Let me see.
Right. And the CNN moderators will let him get away with it. Second question. Overall grocery prices have increased 21% on your watch. Why? He'll have no idea how to answer that question. None. His mouth will go open, and that's it.
You don't think he'll mention COVID and Trump at that point?
No, because grocery prices have increased 21%, and COVID is years back. They haven't come down. All right, third question. When the U.S. left Afghanistan, your administration abandoned $7 billion worth of American weapons to the Taliban. Why did you allow that? Again, the mouth will come open. He'll try to blame Trump somehow, but no answer to that.
And will Trump at that point mutter under his breath, not only all that money, but don't forget about the 13 brave Americans that were murdered that day because of your inept exit strategy.
And that's a follow-up on it.
Yeah.
But he cannot explain that. Fourth question. Mr. President, you and your wife have refinanced the mortgages on your two Delaware homes to the tune of $6 million. Why?
The better question is, how? You only make $400,000 a year.
No, but you can refinance your home. Yeah. They've refinanced their homes.
Yeah, but here's
17 times.
Right, 17 times because he needs the cash. And on top of that, how much? Well, I don't know. And how much are those homes worth? $8 million?
They're worth millions, but wouldn't you like to know why Jill and Joe have refinanced their mortgages to the tune of $6 million? Where's that money?
What do you
do it?
What do you think the answer to that is? I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
I don't either, no.
I have no blanket idea.
Hunter Biden's legal fund?
No.
I'm kidding, I know.
All right, last question. Were you surprised when Special Counsel Robert Hur, investigating the documents in your garage, wrote in his report that you, the President of the United States, present yourself as present, well-meaning, elderly, with a poor memory? Why do you think Hur did that?
And he's going to say, what did you just say?
And then if he's, how's he going to answer that? All right. Well, Trump got to him. Trump robbed him. And then you say, whatever he says to that question, if anything, you say, well, why don't you release the audio tape so everybody can hear it?
Right.
So those five questions are, would just, both of them really would put them to task, both candidates.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I'm not. But the questions are brilliant. The questions show how smart you are and how much you think about this type of stuff. And I thought it was, I thought they were great. I really, really do. So that does, so I got it. No, you're welcome. But that does bring me back to where you were what you're talking about 10 minutes ago, which is how could a guy like you not moderate a debate?
Okay, here we go. 2012, Romney against Obama. All right, Fox News has the debate. So I walk into Roger Ailes' office. He's the president of Fox News. He's about 5'7". I'm 6'4". So I walk in, and I had a good relationship with. He respected me, and I said, "Hey, Roger, let's shake it up. All right, let's let me alone moderate this debate, because you know and I know that both Romney and Obama are classic evaders. They are the best in the world at evading direct questions," which that's true. I said, I'll hold them to account. You'll get the highest ratings in the history of Fox News. It'll be a worldwide phenomenon. And it'll be important for the country to see the two presidential candidates have to answer the questions. He looks up at me and he goes, Fox would like to do debates in the future.
That's a great answer.
Implying
that's
that
a
if
good
he ever
answer.
Unleashed me,
that is a great
Fox
answer.
would never get another debate in the history of the world.
That's funny. That's a fun. But I got to tell you,
I laughed.
It's funny. Roger's a funny guy. But you know the truth is, Biden this year at the Super Bowl did not do the traditional interview with the president. You did a bunch of those. I remember you doing Obama. I remember you doing Trump. And I must say, I never really felt like it got very contentious. It was a good back and forth.
No, it was great. And there's some inside baseball here. I did Bush, I did Obama, I did Trump, okay? The Super Bowl interviews. And when we would go in, I would tell them, all right, I said, look, I don't want to be interrupting the president of the United States. I don't care who it is. Could be Millard Fillmore. I don't want to interrupt Millard. But when you see my hand go up and touch my mouth, touch my face with one finger, that means I want to get in. Okay? I want to say something. If you don't stop talking, I'm going to interrupt. It worked.
The sign, it's like a Joe Girardi sign, right? I mean, steal the base.
It worked with all of them because Obama can do 4 minutes. Remember, these were live interviews, most of them. He can give 4 minutes on your sock.
Yes, I know.
Those socks, Bill. It's a nice color blend.
No, he's good. He's good.
Right. He's good. So you had to have some kind of control over keeping the answers pithy.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
So I got 60 seconds. We'll get to the Met Yankee stuff next time. I got 60 seconds. You will be anchoring the coverage tonight. You and Rita live at 9 o'clock. Play-by-play, the whole exciting, right there, doing it all. Who's going to win tonight, Bill O'Reilly?
I don't know. Look, no matter what happens, the partisans are going to say their guy won. Biden could collapse on the podium, all right, spill his water all over his head, and the Biden people go, Biden won.
You know what's funny about that? I actually disagree. I think that's the only way they'll say he doesn't win. As long as he stands up straight, he wins.
I'm being as Joe.
No, I know, but I know.
Facetious.
No, but you're right. You're right in that the reason why Biden's going to win is because if the partisan bias is the determining factor, 90% of the media is on Biden's side, so he's going to win.
And they're going to say tomorrow, no matter what happens, that Biden acquitted himself well and he won, and he's the greatest guy in the world. I got one word. Well, actually, it's a sentence. One sentence for Trump. Don't be mean.
Give me an example of mean.
Points in a way that is very disciplined and very straightforward.
Give me an example of mean. Quick.
Dressing down Hunter Biden. Don't attack the family.
Don't do that. Even if Joe Biden
mean.
calls him a convicted felon 10 times.
All you have to do when he does that is look at him and go, well, I'm sure you know a lot about convicted felons.
Oh, shizzle.
Now, he's a right. Trump has a right to defend himself.
Yes.
But he needs women votes. Yeah. He needs the women in the middle. Don't be mean. You don't have to be mean. You are sharper than he is. You've got a better record than he is. Just keep it disciplined.
And that's great advice. Bill O'Reilly, you're gorgeous. I love you. I really, you are. I'm so happy you're on today. I mean, every Thursday you're amazing, but what a great day to have you today. You're going to be great later on tonight with Rita. Thank you for another amazing appearance, and get your popcorn ready for the big one tonight. Thank you, Bill O'Reilly.
Thanks for having me, Sid. See you.
You're the best. The best. Bill O'Reilly, how great was that? How great was that? The questions back and forth, his opinion on what Trump should do tonight, what may happen tonight. There's nobody better, I mean this, than Bill O'Reilly in the history of this business. 9 o'clock tonight, O'Reilly and Rita, right here on WABC. Fourth and final hour coming back.
I can't see no reason to put up the fight. I'm living for giving the devil his due. And I'm burning for you. I'm burning for you.
77 WABC. This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, did you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, plow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so sad.
Oh yeah, the showdown, like 8 Mile here. Eminem. He's another guy. As I'm getting older, I appreciate his work more. I mean, he's a scumbag. He just is, but pretty talented guy. It's a great song. So
I thought you were going to kind of yell.
Nah, this is a great song for the showdown. Come on. Whether it's a rap showdown or a presidential debate, this is a great showdown song.
It's perfect. Heads or tails. They should do it exactly like that.
They should do that. My phone is blowing up. I never get nervous. I got nervous. Shut up, Luke.
I'm just thinking of the two of them staring at each other.
I know,
like
with this song playing.
Like a rap battle.
I got nervous when I started doing Imus. I was nervous. And the thing about working with Don was I was nervous like that every day. Like, it didn't go away. It was weird. Like, you know how you do something for the first time, you're nervous, second time, less nervous, and it goes away. Every day I was a wreck on Imus.
You were on edge.
Every day.
I knew that.
It was terrible.
I knew that. I kind of kept telling you, everything's great. What are you doing?
You would do that. You and Bernie. Both
yes.
you guys.
Yes, it's
and,
funny.
then I get suspended or fired or, so that's how great it was.
That means you were in. You were in.
I was in.
Stupid.
And then when I did I was on Stern a couple of times, 3 or 4 times, I don't remember. And I hosted his silly Whack Pack bowling show. When I was in the green room, and I was in studio, I did a 50-minute live interview on Howard's show. That's when Artie Lang was still there. It was Howard, Robin, Artie, and I was on the couch. Walk in, and Lisa G is taking video. Hey, how does it feel for an Imus guy to be here on Howard Stern? And Gary Dell'Abate. I was scared to death. Scared to death. I was nervous then. But I was nervous just now when Bill O'Reilly says, I'm going to ask you 5 questions as if you were Donald Trump. So my phone is blowing up because people were like, I got to tell you, you were great. You were a great Donald Trump. If Donald answers those questions, even Bill O'Reilly gave me credit, but it was nerve-wracking.
That was like being in the lecture hall in college, and he comes over to your seat.
Right.
Now, Rosenberg, I'm going to give you 5 questions.
In front of like 150 kids, and you're scared to death.
This is going to be 80% of the final grade. Now, we'll start with number 1, and please close those books, please.
And just imagine talking about a lecture hall and a professor walking over and putting you on the spot. Imagine if it was Sam Kinison in Back to School when he made Rodney Dangerfield call the Russians a bunch of pinko commie pussies.
Say it! I was married for 9 years!
It's a very good Sam Kinison, the late, great Sam. Anyway, that was a great exercise, and I enjoyed that. And thank you for all the compliments. But you get nervous. You put on the spot. So I don't think Trump gets nervous. I'm not sure Biden does either. But we got a big showdown coming up tonight. But before we get to all of that, at 9:30 in the morning in New York, every day, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. That's when we ring the bell. We open the market. I walk past the New York Stock Exchange every day. Every day, the guy who works, the security guy in the booth, loves this show. Sends me a high five every day when I walk by. Every now and then I see Nicole, these other folks coming out of the stock exchange, right there on the way to the ferry. With that said, it's 9:30, time for the opening bell.
That's right, Sydney. This is the WABC Opening Bell Report. Latest data on weekly jobless claims shows fewer Americans were requesting first-time benefits. Labor Department says it received 233,000 claims in the week ending June 22nd. That's a drop of 6,000 from the prior week. Home prices setting another record last month. They are now 47% higher than they were in 2020, with the median sale price 5 times the median household income. Let's take a look at the numbers right now. The Dow is up 15. No, check that. Now it's switching quickly went back down. The Dow is down 48 points. I'm Noam Laden with the Opening Bell Report on 77 WABC.
They moved on to the next mo who flows and knows dove and sold nada and sold the soap opera. It's told it unfolds. I suppose it's old partner, but the beat goes on. That lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better no more games. I'm gonna change.
Oi! This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
How many of us have them? Friends.
77 WABC.
You know I love the Pretenders, Louis. 9:35 here. I got a really nice pen that I use every day that Mike Sapraicone gave to me when he was in studio a couple of weeks ago. I've seen him since. I was the keynote speaker for Mike Lawler up in Rockland County. Lou's got the pen, too. Look at that. And Mike was there as well and did a good job. He actually spoke that night. Mike, of course, is running against that wretched, and I mean wretched, Kirsten Gillibrand, one of the worst people we've got in office today. And we need Mike to win. The bottom line is we need Mike to win. So here he is, former cop. So, Mike, I'm not sure you're listening earlier, but I'm a guy that I know you know, that I'm sure you love. I love him desperately. Paul DiGiacomo walked out of his office yesterday and called it quits after 42 years. 4 of those years as the head of the DEA. I know you've got tremendous respect for Paul.
Paul's a great, I work with his dad. So his dad was a transit cop when I came on in 1980. Paul's a great guy, and I know how difficult it was for him to leave yesterday. 42 years is a long time. Some might say 22 years too many. But Paul's a dedicated guy who enjoyed work, and he was a great union leader. He was my union leader. So I congratulate him, and it's kind of sad to see him go. But I want to congratulate you first, Sid, because I'm at the Met-Yankee game last night.
Oh, yeah?
And then all of a sudden on the scoreboard comes up, the Blue Bears undefeated. Okay? And now, you know how people start to chatter around you and stuff, and they say, like, coach of the year, this could be coach of the year. Coaching's more than 10%. If you have the right coach, it doesn't matter about the team. And then I hear you later on talking about maybe leaving. Please, I'm asking you as the next senator here in New York State. Said, don't leave for your son, for the team, for the state and the country. You need to stay around.
I love the fact that you listen. And you heard that hours ago. That's great.
I listen.
And it was great coaching Gabriel, that whole team last night. That's funny. You're a Met fan, obviously.
I'm a Met fan, yes. I'm a baseball fan, but I'm a Met fan.
You're a Met fan. Yeah. So you like what you saw the last 2 nights.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific.
But when you become senator for the state of New York, you have to, I guess, love everything about New York, right?
Well, I do love everything about New York. I'm a sports fan. But so it's good to have a team, but you need to be a fan of everything.
Right.
And just like when I become senator, I'm not just going to be the conservative Republican senator. I'm going to be the senator for the United States, for New York State.
Which you talk about. You're the senator for everybody. Before we get to that, though, talking about Paul DiGiacomo, talking about the cops. You were a great cop for a very, very long time. Much better cop than the mayor was. But
and we were on together, too, buddy.
I know.
He'll deny that. But.
I know. But we've got a situation, which I really think Governor Andrew Cuomo, I've not been beating up Cuomo as of late because I've gotten to know him a little bit personally, and I still want to talk to him a little more, find out what really makes him do the things that he does, what makes him tick. But he was a guy that paroled a bunch of these cop killers. He did. One of these guys especially, that guy Bell, Herman Bell, is a real scumbag. What's with New York paroling these guys who kill cops?
So we're putting a petition out now, and you can see that at Mike Sapraicone for Senate.com, and we need about 10,000 signatures. So between Cuomo and Hochul, they've released 41 cop killers.
41?
In the state of New York. 41 cop killers in the last 7 years. 2 more up for parole this month. Okay. And as I speak to the widows, around, Mrs. Sledge from 1980, her husband was killed, and other widows. People don't realize these are the widows and the families are doing life sentences, not the murderers.
That's right.
They're being released.
That's right.
Because they're 55 years of age and they need to deserve a second chance. But what about the families who never got a second chance? It's ridiculous. We were up in Albany doing a press conference a couple of weeks ago. And why would we even have to do a press conference about this? What's the purpose? Then I went to the police memorial up there in Albany about a month or so ago, and Hochul's there with her sunglasses on, and she stood up and told everybody how she supports the police. Are you kidding me? You're letting cop killers out. This is common sense.
Yeah.
This is not hard stuff.
She supports nothing except for the Buffalo Bills. And I just realized that not only did I see you at the GOP event in Rockland and hear a bunch, but talking about widows of slain cops, you and I were both inside the church.
That's right.
For Jonathan Diller.
Right. We were. And Stephanie did such a great job. What a strong person at that moment in her life to stand up to everybody. And, another person who's Mrs. Piantini.
Yes.
She has been terrific.
Oh, that was a brutal story.
Her husband, Joseph, was assassinated with Officer Waverly in 1971. And that killer of Joseph has been released. And how do you do that? What kind of society do we live in?
Well, what is the rationale? Is that what you just said? They've learned their lesson. They found Jesus. What's the rationale?
Listen, I believe in rehab to a certain extent, so we all do, and we understand
killers.
that.
Not
killers, though. Not killers. They should be, and that's why we're going to look at some federal legislation, which I would support and vote for as soon as I become United States Senate, where any law enforcement officer killed in the line of duty in this country will be federally charged without parole and a death penalty if appropriate in that state. And I think that's important. Take it out of the parole board's hands.
Yes, agreed. That would be a great move. But explain to me, okay, because I'm still just a radio guy. I'm more of an entertainer. I'm a smart guy, obviously, but more of an entertainer. Explain to me why all these politicians who seem to have more power than these legislators in Albany can't do anything because of people like Carl Heastie and Andrew Stewart Cousins. Why do they wield this incredible power up in Albany where people like the governor and even senators can't get these idiots, these morons, to fix bail reform?
Because they don't care. They don't care. It's not affecting them right now. If it was to affect them, you look at situations.
It's not affecting them. Heastie's neighborhood, his constituency, is one of the worst in New York.
He doesn't care about his neighborhood. He cares about himself. He doesn't care about his neighborhood. They don't care about the constituents. We need to start holding the politicians accountable. Same thing with Gillibrand. What has she done in the last 15 years?
What has she done?
Well, that's it. Nothing. And I told you, my big line is, as a cop, you put her in a lineup, you can't pick her out.
Yeah.
But every place I go throughout the state, people think I'm running against the other guy. Who are you running against?
Eisen?
Oh, yeah, no. I'm not going there with you. Or maybe Carrie, you want to say, okay? I'm trying to stay away from that.
Who's the other guy?
Schumer. They don't even know who's running.
Right.
They don't even know who's running. Right.
Right.
They don't even know who she is. Okay.
Well, she lives in Troy, New York. Where does she live?
Well, I heard she lives in Washington now. Is going to vote at her mother's house, but I don't know that. I don't know that for a fact. But the point is, people we don't hold anybody accountable. Congestion pricing. Look at the stupidity. Okay, now you're going to all of a sudden cancel that after everybody's been hyped up on it for years. You're going to cancel it right before the election.
Well, it's coming back, though. Now it's coming back.
It's going to come back.
Yeah.
It's going to come
back. It may
back.
come back before the election. But here's what I know about you. You stand for a lot of good stuff. Like Trump endorsed you, that's great. But
he endorsed me again the other day. So he's endorsed me twice this week already. This week. Twice this week.
And his initial endorsement was a really long, enthusiastic endorsement. But I know who you are. You know, you're a good guy. You're a former cop. You care about people. You want to fix all the laws that are getting people killed in the state of New York. You want to fix the laws that have illegals walking the streets and committing all these heinous crimes. You want to make sure that New Yorkers don't get taxed up the kazoo. All these things are on your plate. What exactly does Kirsten Gillibrand want to do? Look at what she's done. What does she want to do that's going to improve life in the state of New York?
Nobody knows. She's not saying, but nobody knows. She's not saying anything. Does she stand up for Israel? Is she what? She stood up for certain things. I guess in the military, she tried to change some things in the military. What has she done here in our state? No one has seen her. She has no initiatives. She's not engaged. She really is missing in action. And I'm not trying to be nasty.
Look, but I want to listen. We have a habit in this country. Okay, the white man at this point is not the favorite. Okay, especially a white Italian cop. No thanks. Give me a black person. Give me a gay person. Give me a woman. So she's a woman. Okay, so right off the bat, she's got heads up on her competitor. Is it fair to say that maybe she's won a bunch of times because she's a woman? Now, Chuck Schumer's not a woman. He's won too, so maybe it's not fair to say. But other than her being a woman, what else does she have?
Well, I just to go back, I think when she was appointed by Patterson, which I think was a mistake, and I think that was
David
pressure.
Patterson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't I like the former governor. I've met him a couple of times. He's a nice man.
He's a great guy.
But I think once you get put in as an incumbent, it's really yours to lose. And you have to do something to lose it. She's doing something to lose it now. She's doing nothing. Yeah. And that's what's going to cause this problem. I think this is such a great opportunity for us, for the party right now. And it's all about timing. And this is the time. I mean, look at, you talk about you being a great coach. Look at Chairman Cairo in Nassau County, what he's done as our coach out there. And Jesse Garcia, I'm going to be with him tonight in Suffolk at a watch party with the young Republicans. And you look at these chairmen working hard, Chairman Cox, who you know well. This is our time. If we can't do it this time,
I agree.
We'll never do it.
I agree.
And we have to do it.
So what are you hearing? It's early, obviously. The election's not until November. But are you hearing good things? Are you getting anything back, any numbers back that would lead you to believe you've got a real chance of winning this?
Well, I think the Siena poll, and you can't always go, it's Siena poll, but 42% of New Yorkers don't even want her. Another 42%, I think, don't even know her. So we're in a really good place on that. And that was one of the things the president came out with the other day after seeing that poll, to re-endorse me again. But I think we have to work together, and as Republicans, we need to work hard and stay together. But some of the things we need to do that we don't do well, Sid, we don't do early voting. I'm a guy, you go out Tuesday morning, you get a bagel, you vote, you take the kids out to the park.
Of course.
No more. We have to get out there and do early voting.
We got to play their game.
We got to play their games. We have to do absentee ballots. We've always been good on boots on the ground, but it showed in the Mozzie race, and I know you're a fan of Mozzie's, and I was also.
Love her.
It snowed that day. That didn't help them, right?
Yes.
So we need to get out there. We need to talk about ourselves, bring out our agendas. These are not just issues of conservative Republican. These are common sense American issues, and people are starting to realize that. People are seeing that.
Mike, you're a great candidate. You really are. And I've enjoyed our friendship the last couple of weeks and months, and I look forward to the next couple of months and bringing you right to that finish line where you get the win come November. We'll do this often over the next couple of months.
This is a lot of fun for me.
Me too. Thank you for coming in today and continued success. You're doing great.
Thanks, Sid. I appreciate it.
You got it. Mike Sapraicone, that's our guy against Gillibrand coming up in November, folks. Enthusiastically, I want an enthusiastic endorsement like President Trump has now done 3 times for my buddy Mike Sapraicone. We're coming back right after this.
You see the darndest things, like fat guys driving around in jeeps through the city wearing big diamond rings and silk suits. There's corrugated tin shacks full of kids. So man, I don't mean a Hampstead nursery. When you own a big chunk of the bloody third world, the babies just come with the scenery. Now come on, baby, get in the road. Come on now, in the middle of the road, yeah. Mm-hmm.
77 WABC. This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
No, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Bob O'Reilly, The Who, I love this song. Come on, Albany, good luck to Giselle Tavares, Miss USA, heading up there for the big competition on Saturday and Sunday. Sapraicone can go to Albany and kick some ass. And Donald Trump later on tonight. It's the big one, the debate. They'll get coverage all day long here. Brian Kilmeade, Curtis Sliwa, Greg Kelly, Dominic Carter, Bo Snerdley, John, Rita, O'Reilly and Rita, Mark Levin. We will cover it for you like nobody else can. It's the big one. I'm pumped up for it. I got to be up late till 10:30 and up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'll be watching every second of it. 9 p.m. tonight, CNN live from Atlanta. Trump versus Biden 3. And I expect it'll be the same results as the first two, an easy Donald Trump win, but we'll see what the rest of the country thinks. With that said, we wrap up today's program. Lou Ruffino, amazing job. Justin Ellick, amazing job. As always, Noam Layden, great job. Donald Trump, baby, Trump 2024, takes his first step. He's got a 4-point lead right now in the latest poll. Takes his first step towards returning to Pennsylvania Avenue with a big win over Biden in Atlanta, Georgia tonight. You're looking live at a sold-out Fulton County Stadium where tonight the former president of the United States is about to take the imbecile in charge to the woodshed. Keep it right here, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sally, take my hand. We'll travel south across land. Put out the fire. Don't look past my shoulder. The Exodus is